Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with Andrew Velez and Joe Dells, and Miles Johnson is in the building. Real Talk with MJ on
Yes, sir.
TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. It's nice to have you on the show, man.
My brother, appreciate y'all having me. Been watching y'all since 2020.
Real.
So peers from afar. Well, not too afar now. I'm right in New York. So no, it's a pleasure, bro.
We got an Eagles legend in the building here. I was telling you before we started the show, I was not happy for anyone the way that I was happy for you when the Eagles were winning those games. Because I took some heat on this show, no doubt. But there's no one that took heat the way that you did.
Oh, I mean, every time you talking about before the show,
Facts.
like, every time Hurts balled out, I'm pressing record. I don't know, it's crazy. Like, wow, it's going to do the same thing this season. So I'm pumped, bro.
That's the best part, though, of having a real agenda and like being able to stand on it.
Hell yeah.
The shit games are gonna be bad, and you're gonna get heat for it.
Yeah.
But when they step up and finally fucking do it, like, all right, what else is there to say?
Yeah, that's how I feel about the Jets, able to brag about them back in 2010, 2009. I was able to have my bragging rights back then.
Yo, in 2009, 2010, that was a legendary.
2009, 2010,
I was on
y'all
top of
can
the
get
world.
some shit off.
I was on top of the world.
There's nobody
I was
that
on
can
top.
tell you anything.
Oh, yeah.
That 09 team was special.
It was.
And that's how I'm going to feel this year when the Knicks win the NBA championship.
Okay.
So we're here.
That'll be like
Where I was
Sixers going to say.
I was gonna say.
I don't forgive him for a take he made earlier this year. He said that even though the Knicks made the Eastern Conference Finals, the Sixers had a better season than them because they got the 4th overall pick.
Because you got to think about this, right? We both going to Cancun. One got Stone. The other, did y'all even get a first round pick? Y'all didn't trade all of them for what? Mikal Bridges? Like,
You still have Paul George on your roster.
that's bad.
Would you give up VJ for Embiid's first ECF appearance?
No.
Okay, that's because that's
I need
pretty
a
much you're
chip.
giving up.
I need a chip.
What about a finals appearance? Maybe he doesn't win, but
No,
he
finals.
succeeds.
A lot of agendas can be.
Okay.
Can be,
Then winning a
Yeah.
top 5 pick is rather go to the finals than top 5.
I gotta go finals.
All right, I'm trying to see what like the value is of a top 5 pick.
Embiid making it to the ECF, though, a lot of conversations died.
Yeah.
Like, just the ECF appearance alone, he could have won 1 game. He could have won 0. He just got that off his back. I made the ECF.
He needs to win a game.
Because how many times have you seen something happen and immediately is, this happened before Embiid?
Oh
ECF
yeah.
appearance.
He gotta do some. But I mean, the Knicks, y'all was favored. Hallie had.
We definitely got Mike Brown, but it's really nice having you on the show. You are an Eagles legend. I think you might be one of the bigger Eagles content creators on the internet right now with the way that you're buzzing right now, and it's nice to have you on the show with a football topic list.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna talk about Jalen Hurts, of course, while you're on the show, and it's gonna be a free flowing show. And shout out to Riv and John this weekend.
Both
They're out on
were they out together?
It's just coincidental that both of them
Oh,
aren't available. We've been hearing about, like, their recent flirtations with one another.
I've
Like,
seen them demoing each other too. Maybe
really?
I don't know. They're doing something.
Interesting.
They do a lot of things. They play basketball together. They're in the leagues together.
They've slept together.
That did happen in Vegas.
Yes,
That's
and it's
true.
bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Makes you think, man.
They're
They're out there
enjoying
enjoying their
live
lives.
friends. You know what I mean? They didn't tell us where they were going.
They did it. Maybe we can.
Hope they're enjoying themselves. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves.
Yeah. shout out to John Riff.
Okay, so before we get on to the first topic of the topic list, because I feel like it ties into it, Cam Ward, his expectations for his rookie year. Before we get into that, just anything from week 2 of the NFL preseason that you've noticed that you just want to quickly throw out there and talk about.
Let's see. Honestly, we're just recording this Saturday night at like 9 o'clock. We were watching the Jets and Giants play. I think at some point during the season, Braylon Allen takes over from Brees. We were having the conversation outside that what if the Jets, if they're not going to re-sign Brees, which at this point I would be shocked if they re-signed him, why not let him go at some point during the season if you're able to recoup? 3rd round pick would be awesome, but maybe a 4th round pick. Because the way this Jet staff talks about Braylon and the way he runs, he feels like a guy that they really want to give him an opportunity to. And we were just watching outside, and Braylon looks like a better rusher right now, right? And everything's not perfect. Blocking could change game to game. It's not like I'm watching all 22. But just when I'm watching both of them run, Braylon runs with a different sense of urgency than what Brees Hall does. But yeah, no, that was my biggest takeaway. I haven't been able to watch a ton of Week 2 action yet.
I think Russell Wilson's going to have a good year. I think the Giants are going to have a really strong year considering what expectations are. We have a topic later about most surprising teams, and you won't be surprised to hear me talk about the Giants again. The Giants legitimately have a really strong defense, and Russ at floor is going to be comparable, and he's going to be able to do a job. The Giants need that right now. They need a guy that can have some stability. Russ is going to have a solid year. I really do believe that.
I would say just got off the Eagles-Browns game. I got Andrew McCougar from Texas.
Saw that.
6'6", and a fumble in his debut because he was injured the first preseason game. Biggest takeaway from that is, all right, you had C.J. Gardner-Johnson traded to the Texans. I felt like that was a mistake at the time. But if Drew McCougar's doing this, I mean, you have C.J. on a rookie deal, basically. So I think that's huge for the Eagles, who are going to have, like, if there's any concern with the team, it's going to be that secondary. And then, obviously, we see what Dylan Gabriel did compared to Shador Sanders. And it was night and day with what? Now, Gabriel had some good moments.
He did have moments.
Shador clearly played better, and that's going to be a hot time.
Honestly, the pick six was a tough break.
Yeah.
Because the concept was weird. There was two receivers basically right next to each other, and the receiver's running. He goes to put his hands out, then he takes it away, and then that's when you go and get the pick.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah, it was a little iffy, but I mean, he had a better game than I was expecting. I thought Dylan Gabriel, my expectations were low based on just what camp reports have been, but I thought he managed the game fine.
Yeah, how I feel about the Eagles in the 2023 offseason versus the 2025 offseason is completely different. After 2022, when they lost a lot of players on defense that I knew it was going to be major for them to recoup those guys. But this year, I feel like they've done a good job. They lost a lot of good defensive talent. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Josh Sweat, just to name some of them. Milton Williams going to the Patriots. But there's so many young players on the Eagles that I have a lot of faith in breaking out, like Moro Jomo. I think Drew McCougar is a monster. He's really athletic. He doesn't have like the prototypical size that you want at safety, but he's 5'9". He's a hard hitter. He covers very well. He has really good agility. I feel like he's going to be the starter for them at safety. So the Eagles have just recouped their young talent, and then they trade for Jacorian Bennett. We saw him make a couple plays, and if there's one problem with the Eagles, it will be the boundary corner opposite of Quinyon Mitchell. But if Jacorian Bennett can step into that place, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think first couple of weeks, George Pickens is going to get his.
Yeah, nice. You have a good game.
Adrian Worthy or Rasheed Rice, whoever Quinyon is not on is going to get his. I think later. Gets to October, November, you'll see him settle in a little bit in that Vic Fangio scheme.
Yeah, for me, I'm looking at the Colts quarterback battle, keeping a close eye on it. Nobody seems to really be separating. I saw Daniel Jones hit Tyler Warren on a wheel route and then miss him deep on another throw. And Anthony Richardson, much of the same, kind of inconsistent, although he played solid in his second preseason game as well.
Healthy.
So this is coming down to the wire. I do think Richardson is going to win the quarterback battle.
I'm sure you do.
And outside of that game, the Seattle Seahawks offensive line, what a brand new scheme could bring to players. Sometimes players don't fit a certain scheme, and they were asking to drop back 50 times to protect Geno Smith, which is hard for any offensive lineman to do, and they weren't that experienced. But this year, they're playing much more physical. They're rostered right now 3 fullbacks, so they're into heavy personnels, and the way Zach Charbonnet was running the ball and the gaping holes that they were creating on both sides. It didn't matter if they ran to Gray Zabel's side, Anthony Bradford's side. They were creating massive holes. And Gray Zabel, that first-round rookie, he's going to be a stud. He screams like 5-time Pro Bowler at guard. I think he's going to be really good.
I wish preseason.
Yeah, I wish we had more clarity about Seattle's backfield.
Me too, man.
Because Kenneth Walker, they say they have him on this plan, like he's resting some days, but he has been battling an injury, and you have Charbonnet there, who of course had great runs, and even in Walker's absence last year, Charbonnet was excellent. So from a fantasy perspective, I'm sitting here like, I don't even know where to put these guys, because the offensive line, I'm starting to buy into a bit. I think when you have bringing a new OC and you do, invest some draft capital that, you see it all the time. Offensive line surprises us, guys step in, and it could really change the whole unit. But I wish we had some clarity there, because that would be a backfield. I'm like, that's a potential breakout guy, but maybe it's just this 1-2 punch they have, because they both should be on the field.
Shout out to Nick from BDGE. He said if if Kenneth Walker did what Zach Charbonnet did on the football field, we'd be talking about Kenneth Walker like a first-round pick. Fans.
That's a fact.
Like, he was that impressive.
And I think Kenneth Walker can have a massive year. Like Alvin Kamara, I think, led all running backs in expected fantasy points per game when the Saints were all healthy.
Get you locked in.
And if Kenneth Walker, I'm saying, I just think he needs to stay healthy. He has the talent to.
It's
to stay healthy.
The one thing why Alvin always has that floor is because of the receiving. Like, he's going to get peppered a ton. The he has definitely compared.
Fantasy points.
You're right. Compared to what we thought of him out of the draft was that his hands were shaky. No, 100%. I think they definitely have found a strength that we didn't know he had coming out of the draft. Just got to stay on the field. That's really all it comes down to. We know how great he is as a rusher, too.
Yeah, and we saw it last year, Clint Kubiak with the Saints.
Yeah.
Nobody thought that offensive line was good, and they came out in the first 3 weeks, and they smacked everybody, and their offensive line looked really good. So I think with Clint Kubiak, I've always had a lot of stock invested into him as a young, bright OC. I just feel like his teams, for whatever reason, get hurt, and then he's not able to have a full season of consistent play. The last time he was an OC for the full year and they were healthy, it was Kirk Cousins in 2018, and Kirk had his best career year. So I think he knows how to call plays. He's been with Sam Darnold back in San Fran 2 years ago. I think the Seahawks got a really high floor.
What do you think their ceiling is? I saw you tweet, like, if their offensive line, like, is great, they could be first in NFC West.
That's the only question mark with them, their offensive line.
I don't hate that take.
They could be first.
My thing is, we saw what Sam Darnold did with the Vikings. Bunch of weapons, great situation, great play call, Kevin O'Connell. Going to now Seattle, where it's a downgrade from everything. Everything you had, maybe the running game may be a little bit better, but outside of that, it's a downgrade. I don't know if Sam Darnold can repeat that. I know he's not going to repeat what he did.
No way.
So it's a matter of, you got the 49ers with a easy schedule. They got Robert Saleh, you got from the Jets. Like, you got the Rams who got vengeance. They gave my Eagles their biggest test. Like, I still see them being, I guess, battling with the Cardinals between third and fourth in the division.
Right now, the betting odds has the Seahawks as fourth place in that division. You can make the most money by betting on them.
That's disrespectful.
Every team in that division is good. The Cardinals last year, second half of the year, they were 10th in the paper play on defense. They had a top 10 offense. So if that defense is top 15, that offense is top 10, that is a pretty high floor. And Kyler just has to put a complete season where he's a great quarterback. The 49ers, the most injured team in the NFL last year. If they're not hurt with that easy schedule, they could win a lot of games. And the Rams right now is their secondary. Their pass defense is one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL last year. And then Matthew Stafford's injury. I don't know how serious.
I'm starting to get.
I'll give you that.
Stafford
on the back, yeah.
So I'm looking at the Seahawks like, yeah, I don't think Sam Darnold is going to replicate the MVP-like statistical year that he had with the Minnesota Vikings, but I do think that he can be a quarterback that throws 22 touchdowns, 13 picks in a season, and he can be a solid quarterback.
I see that.
And I think he could do that. And if he does that, then I think the Seahawks, with their defense, they have a high floor.
And to also clean up what you're saying, you tweeted, if their offensive line, which is their greatest weakness, is way better than what we're anticipating. So you're telling me the team with a team that can have a top 5 defense in the league, one of the best defenses in the league on paper. Yes, I'm with you. I think Sam Darnold is a fraud, and he showed us that in the biggest moments last season versus the Lions and then versus the Rams. Yes, I agree. But he showed in the regular season he can do a job. And there was times where I felt like he was doing a lot more than his job because that offensive line isn't good. And he was improvising. He was extending plays and letting balls go deep down the field and hitting Jet on stride, hitting Jordan on stride. Yes, Jason's not Jet. Yes, Cooper Kupp's not what he once was. But if the offensive line can get cleaned up like it has looked so far in the preseason, you have Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet. If your offense can be predicated on the run, and then you work off play action, I think that's where we see Sam Darnold work at his best. This team can surprise and win the division. I'm with you, Joel.
It's definitely a downgrade. I'm obviously
100%.
But I think what you're saying, and I agree, potentially it's not
a huge down.
It's not a
We
disaster.
can see, right, Darnold, MVP-like player. They won, 14 regular season?
It was
games,
amazing.
And that includes the meltdowns at the end of the season. If it's not a huge downgrade, just a downgrade, right, going from Clint Kubiak, who we think highly of, a potentially good offensive line, good running backs we're confident in.
For sure.
And JSN showed when Shane Waldron got out of that place, he all of a sudden became an elite receiver. You have Torrey Horton who's showing some promise too. So there's a world where I see this working.
Yeah, because I think Sam Darnold, outside of Matthew Stafford, I think he has an argument to be better than Brock Purdy and Kyler Murray.
And Purdy?
Yeah.
Can you
What? Purdy?
Wait, what? Say that again.
What?
why is Purdy the first guy?
Outside of Matthew Stafford, I think Sam Darnold statistically can outperform Brock Purdy.
Okay, see,
Kyler Murray.
no, Joel's notorious for this.
He did
Say an outlandish statement,
Switched it.
follow it up with a cleaner statement. Respect
No,
it.
I don't think there's a gap between them as quarterbacks. Brock Purdy is really good at processing defense. He's really good at throwing with anticipation. Sam Darnold can make more high-level throws. And this past season, he had the 3 most big-time throws in the NFL. Brock Purdy wasn't able to touch that. And Sam Darnold, I think a misconception about him is that he benefited from this elite situation, which was great.
What
The
you're about to say
receivers
is
were
right.
great. The play calling was great. They could not run the ball. They were one of the worst rushing teams in the NFL. And that offensive line, surprisingly, there were only 2 spots ahead in the Seattle Seahawks offensive line in terms of pressure rate allowed, especially when Christian Darrisaw went out, which was around the middle of the season.
Yep.
And Sam Darnold still balled after that. And Kyler Murray, he's never thrown over 30 passing touchdowns in the season.
You got
He's
it,
never
sure.
thrown over 40
Got it,
yards
sure.
passing in the season. Sam Darnold's season he just had this past year, 36 total touchdowns. Kyler Murray's best season 3 years ago, 37 total touchdowns. So I don't think between those two, especially when
And he
you
was
take into
injured.
account
To be fair,
what they're getting paid, give me Sam
to
Darnold.
be fair, Brock Purdy last season was not in a great situation.
No, he doesn't.
All the
No, he
injuries,
wasn't.
he couldn't run the ball, and Purdy still had a good year. Like
Purdy
Purdy was
years darn.
Purdy
I don't
was
want to hear
a
this.
very good quarterback last
Clear
year,
sense.
even with all the bullshit going on. So when everything was right, they went to the Super Bowl. Maybe he got too much hype, but I think Purdy's one of the best 13, 14 quarterbacks.
See the TikTok I sent you? 2021 K1?
Oh, I don't think so.
This guy kills me because him and I really were K1 guys, like huge K1 fans. 2021 Kyler, I'm assuming that's the season you're talking about, unless you're talking about rookie Kyler, which was also amazing.
2021 and 2022, he
That was the first year with T.O., correct?
The first 8 weeks of the season.
So then it was this, I was gonna say that year K1 starts the season on fire. They're 8-0. He's amazing. He gets injured.
Yeah.
That has been the story of his career since then. And even still, I will give Sam Darnold his flowers for last season. He was a million times better than I anticipated. I'm not taking him over K1 after.
well, I
Thing with
think
Sam Darnold though, so compared to Kyler Murray, I think he could definitely be better than Kyler Murray. I'm super low on Kyler. You was talking about 2021. Another year.
we're in
So
2025.
21, he was
it is 2025, bro.
Right, yeah.
I will say so. I think he's better than Kyler. With Purdy, we've seen him take a team to the Super Bowl, have that same season MVP like numbers. Now, if he didn't have a bad game against Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, he very well could have won MVP. He was right in the race for that. So I got to give him that and the body of work he's shown. Now, talent-wise, measurables, Sam Darnold got that. But in terms of like processing a defense and making the right reads, give me Purdy all day. And so, but Kyler, I'm so cool off him. It's just like he starts seasons off decent. But last season, the 49ers injured all season. The Rams were injured in the beginning. They got healthy later on, but they were still banged up. Their offensive line was banged up. And then Seattle was banged up as well. Their offensive line was terrible as well. So you had to, honestly, like, the season to at least get to the playoffs, at least maybe, try to compete for that division. And they didn't do that. So I want my guy Marvin Harrison to have a breakout year, at least that.
You gotta
here's
have
the
faith in
difference.
K1 for that to happen.
faith in Kyler.
MJ, like you need that to be the case.
And here's the thing with MHJ and Kyler. MHJ is at his best working the intermediate parts of the field. And Kyler is not the best at getting the ball to those places. Do you want to know some numbers that I came across not too recently? Kyler Murray this past season in 2024, the only pass type where he was top 10 in EPA per play was not outside the numbers, was on passes that were 0 to 10 yards. Any passes 10 to 20 yards, he would rank 33rd in EPA per play amongst all quarterbacks. And any passes 20-plus yards down the field, he ranked 34th. He is a quarterback that past 10 yards, past the sticks, he becomes one of the worst throwers of the football, efficiency-wise, in the league.
That's only been recent, though. That's only been recent.
It hasn't. His deep ball has been towards the bottom of the league, if not the worst, for the last 3 years.
That's okay. Well, the last 3 years, one he played half a season and one he missed an entire year.
That's a long time, though.
He tore his ACL.
Also, he hasn't, like, outside of last year, he didn't really have a true outside one for a couple of years.
But his efficiency has been dropping down the field. He has not been, and this is also counting accuracy.
2022, which, yes, 3 years ago, I'm agreeing and understanding that there was no deep ball better than Kyler Murray's. He had the highest completion percentage on deep balls, if I'm not mistaken.
And that's been a while ago. I'm taking the sample size as more recent.
But that's, to be honest,
you can't tell me that Sam Darnold did his fake and then pop up.
I'm not saying what he did was fake. I acknowledge what he did was very impressive considering what I expected. What I'm saying is you're being unfair to K1.
If Darnold, not to cut you off.
I'm not mad.
In 3 years.
If Darnold has a similar, maybe not as great years last year,
I'll shut up.
Okay. So I think what Joel is saying is there's potential if Darnold plays well that he could surpass Kyler.
But like, if you're telling me I get a healthy K1,
yeah,
I'm not in my right.
What if you got,
he can say if he replicates,
what if
I'm not
last year 20% better?
Oh, we're up 20%.
I thought he was. I thought he was fine.
You think he was like unless you think Kyler
last.
Okay,
Kyler was good last.
Okay,
I thought he was pretty consistent.
No, for what we think K1 can be, disappointed
That's
us.
right, like he wasn't in top 10 talks.
But you're telling me
that's where I think
you're telling me K1 from last year gets 20% better. We're talking about a Pro Bowler. We're talking about a team that makes the playoffs. We're talking about a guy that has a chance to push in top 8 conversations.
So I think that your scenario is not wrong because I think if Kyler Murray plays at an MVP level, the Cardinals can win the NFC West.
Yes.
Because they need him to perform at that level. But from the level that I've seen Kyler perform at for the last 3 years, when healthy and unhealthy, because he has been hurt, but he has been banged up, and that's also a problem on him.
Agree.
Yeah, I think this past season, what Sam Darnold did is better than anything Kyler's done in the last 3 years.
In the last 3 years, and objectively,
it's
not
the
wrong.
Difference between me and you guys in regards to Sam Darnold. I don't think it's fraudulent or fake what Sam Darnold did last season. I think he's a good quarterback. And I think that he finally was put in a situation where he could thrive, and he proved it, and then he did thrive. Because the 49ers, I'm not going to disregard Brock Purdy and say that he didn't have impressive moments. I think that he also was benefited by an elite supporting cast, the likes of offensively that we have not seen that much throughout the course of NFL history, one of the best play callers ever. And that season, I was telling these guys and Riv that if Sam Darnold was started in the place of Brock Purdy, he'd put up similar numbers. And then a year later, he goes to a situation that's not as good, but it is similar, and he puts up top 5 numbers in the NFL at the quarterback position.
I mean, Sam Darnold does have Jettis, got Addison. He got arguably the best DC in the game, at least top 3, Brian Flores.
Mike Donald's better.
He got himself.
The Seahawks defense is going to be better.
Oh.
It's good. It's like real close in terms of like the talent they got. But what Purdy did, I mean, we can't undersell like the way that he was able to get them to the Super Bowl and put up an MVP-like year. And in the biggest moments, he wasn't the reason why they lost. He wasn't the reason. Sam Darnold, my biggest issue with him is in the biggest games that you're needed to be the reason the team wins.
I could say that the same way I could say that for Brock Purdy last year's against the Buffalo Bills in the snow was horrible. It is snow, and he has limited arms, so it's going to look bad in that situation. Against the Rams, primetime Thursday night game in the rain, he was awful. Matthew Stafford was also awful in that game. But Brock Purdy also couldn't pass the ball five yards down the field because of how wet the ball was in those circumstances. And throughout the course of last season, Brock Purdy did not play well. Whenever the Niners were trailing, Brock Purdy had more interceptions thrown than touchdowns last year. He was one of the worst late-game quarterbacks in the NFL last year and the worst when trailing. So I think that a byproduct of his season was also due to, when he was an MVP candidate, was due to the fact that the Niners were always leading. And they had a great, amazing team. And last year, I will say, they got injured to the max, to a point that, I do think what he did last year was impressive. It showed that even in a bad situation, he can give you good quarterback play. And that's where I think Brock Purdy is. I have him ranked around the 15th to 16th best quarterback in the NFL. And Sam Darnold, to me, is around the 19th best quarterback in the NFL.
Where y'all got him at?
I think Purdy is anywhere between 11 and 15. If you have him between 11 and 15, that's value in me. I want to say this, and it's the last thing I'll say on this topic. We're not saying what he did was fraudulent. What we're saying is Sam Darnold in the biggest moment gagged. That's what we're saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Sam Darnold is bad. He's not bad. Far from, actually. He's a choke artist. That's what I'm saying. I also want to say is, you said if he's anywhere where you can see a 22 touchdown season with 13 INTs, K1 didn't just do that. Like, that wasn't just K1 right now. So you're saying like a K1 mid-season, that's where it's okay to put him with a guy that you think can have a similar statistical season?
Kyler is having mid-seasons, and what is he, a mid-quarterback?
He's been injured.
Last year he was healthy.
Last year he was healthy, but it was him getting back into a full season of football.
I think that Kyler's weaknesses don't have to do with the actual injuries that he's dealing with.
But he did not run not nearly as much.
Enough, but I think Kyler's biggest weakness is how he plays under pressure.
I agree.
Kyler Murray, whenever he sees a body in front of him, he is not like Sam Darnold, who will see that body and he'll load up and he'll throw, and he'll still throw the ball and push the ball down the field.
21.
I know, but it's been a minute.
You're right. But you know how many of those plays is exactly what he's describing? Yeah. Like, pressure right in his face. He's like, fucking on my back foot.
Kyler Murray is a quarterback that when he sees pressure, his eyes drop, he cradles, and he takes a bad sack, or he runs around and throws it away, and you're not getting the explosive plays that you should be from Kyler because of pressure. And that's the biggest weakness in his game. And then it's also the fact that you cannot open the full playbook for him because he is not looking at routes towards the middle of the field.
That's fine. I thought you were going to say because he's too short.
He's not looking at routes. And this is any quarterback, they're going to struggle seeing over the offensive line. These guys are 6'6", so even the tallest quarterback, Josh Allen, you need to find throwing windows to be able to throw the ball through, like, basically the space in their helmets. And when you're a shorter quarterback, it's just harder to do that. But a quarterback that does do it, that is short, two quarterbacks, one shorter than the other, Tua does it at a high level. He throws to the middle of the field.
It's literally the goat.
And Bryce Young is shorter than Kyler Murray, and he throws to the middle of the field.
So it's not a height issue.
No, it's
a reason.
Height lessens your ability to be able to.
If Bryce Young can do it, he's shorter. If Tua can do it, he's a little bit taller.
The outliers.
But there's been quarterbacks in history that are not the tallest, and they still can do the middle.
Most quarterbacks that are shorter, they're avoiding the middle.
They definitely struggle more with it.
Like
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russ is like the biggest. But like Drew Brees, Baker for a lesser extent, like they can still throw over the middle of the field.
But the thing is that we have a sample size of Kyler's entire career where he doesn't do it.
I agree.
And it's not even been when he's been playing at an MVP level. So that's why I think Sam Darnold, people forget he's the third overall pick. He was drafted that high for a reason, and the Jets ruined him like they ruined every quarterback. And it took him a while to get into a situation where he had to prove himself.
That's right.
And he proved himself. Like, I understand if you want to hold the late season chokes against him, I understand, because we don't have a sample size of him playing in big games, and those were his two big games.
For sure.
And he didn't pass those tests. But I'll say
didn't just not pass.
One
miserably fail.
One game is different than the other. The Lions game, I thought there were throws out there that he didn't make. The Rams game, I thought they pressured him so often.
No chance.
He didn't even have a chance out there. So I separate those two games, and I think that this year he'll learn from it and he'll be a better quarterback, and he's in a situation that believes in him.
He'll learn from it. 22 touchdowns, 13 INTs.
Sure, Kyler Murray hasn't played.
I never said that's my prediction.
What do you mean? You literally said that.
I did say that, but I didn't say that's my exact prediction. I said, let's say he throws 22 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. It was something I threw out there as like a number, like a variable.
But if we're being honest, that's mid.
Yeah, that'd be okay.
That is what Kyler Murray.
If Jalen Hurts did that, you're calling him a bottom 50 quarterback.
Kyler's gonna have
18 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts threw 18 touchdowns.
But he had 5 picks though. Let's not do that.
Talk.
I also don't.
You know, I think that was
The numbers do it justice because Geno had a year that looks not worse than that statistically, and that's not how I.
He was also poopy.
So it's an eye test thing with Darnold.
It's an eye test, and I think he played really good.
There were moments the eye test he passed.
Yeah, for sure.
There were also moments the eye test.
Kyler has those moments too. They just
Yeah,
there's games where Kyler passes all of the eye test, and there's other games where Kyler passes none of the eye tests.
You really pissed me off,
You
man.
see, the thing with Darnold is it's expectations. It's the level of expectations because when there was no expectations, he's balling. When the expectations rise against the Lions, against the Rams, he crapped the bed. Brock Purdy, you saw that first season when Jimmy G went down. He comes in, it's no expectations. He leads him to the NFC Championship, outplays Dak. Okay, and then next season, he replicates that with the expectations now higher. So the question for Darnold is you're gonna have more expectations than last year. Can you meet those? I'm betting against it. I was betting against it every time.
He needs to play well, and I think he will play well this year.
I hope
what
so.
I'm betting.
I hope so.
I'm betting on Sam Darnold
I hope so.
because I think Sam Darnold is a great.
I left it like that specifically so you can see what I captioned. Because this fucking guy switched on Kyler, and it really does bother me to no end. I switched on him.
Don't get me wrong, I'm rooting from afar.
Are you watching this? Do you see what he's doing with the pressure in his face? Is it not exactly what he was talking about?
I think Kyler can still do this. Like, Kyler can still escape the pocket and make magic happen.
But here's the thing. There's even plays where he's not escaping the pocket. He has no time to do anything except react and throw the ball down the field. 4th and 6 in the clutch, off his back foot, on the money. He has.
He can make all the
he
can make stops.
We just need K1 to be healthy. Trust him. Trust him. We're talking about a generational athlete.
So, do you think that you should group in Kyler Murray and Trevor Lawrence into the same tier? First overall picks that haven't.
I don't hate that.
To that draft.
Yeah.
I don't, because I still have stock in Trev.
Because I think Baker.
You got stock in Trev?
Higher than that.
I got 0 stock.
All right, you're consistent.
I do think Travis Hunter is a generational talent.
For sure.
He's on some like Shohei Ohtani stuff. Like people are like,
You know ball.
oh, like he can't play both sides. I'm not betting against that.
Neither
We're
am I.
talking about this is greatness we're watching right now.
Oh.
So I do think that Travis raises the floor, but I think that Trevor Lawrence is like always giving the benefit of the doubt when Kyler Murray isn't giving the benefit of the doubt. So
That's fair.
we can't get him.
Well, I'm a K1 fan. I'm a K1 fan.
Yeah.
He's cooking, though.
But like we can't just go out here and just prop up Trevor Lawrence. Okay, he's bound for a breakout year. And then you got Mark coming back second year. I think he's gonna really have a breakout year there too. So you got James Conner. I mean, Trey McBride went crazy last season. So Kyler got the pieces. Both of them got pieces. It's about delivering, but they're on the same level. Just number 1 picks that haven't lived up to the billing. Are they complete busts? No. But they're mid quarterbacks at this point.
So if you had to rank these 3 first overall pick quarterbacks, Baker, Trevor Lawrence, Kyler Murray, based on how their careers have went to this point, how do you rank it?
Number 1, Baker.
Yes.
Baker's the best.
He's number 1.
I really have grown a liking. I've taken a liking to Baker's game. Without a doubt, I don't like Baker Mayfield fans. I don't like them.
Have him up to
They're passionate, man. You're not wrong, but like if his Baker Mayfield was just top 5 in touchdowns, top 5 yards, and he was great. I'm not trying to undermine what he did, but like off that alone,
They push it.
they really do.
But
And
Baker's number 1.
I agree. I'm not gonna push back on it too much, considering circumstance, considering what he's had to go through. I give him a lot of credit,
I
man.
mean, you gotta think.
Baker fans
Last
are
year.
passionate because of how he got dumped from Cleveland.
You're right, and I give you your flowers too, because you're on the right side of history.
He has a hell of a story. Even last year, he threw 4,500 yards
He's nuts.
with Chris Godwin out.
Yep.
His whole wide receiver core was banged up here and there. I mean, they had to, have Mike Evans just force feed him the ball just for him to keep the 1,000 streak. So, no, Baker's one of them. Yeah, he definitely won.
And it's crazy because 3 years ago, we'll rank 2 and 3 in a minute, but 3 years
It's
ago,
easily K1.
people, based on talent, thought that Baker was the worst out of these guys.
Yes.
Baker, there's no way he'll be as good as this guy.
So now he was a backup.
If K1 doesn't get hurt, I'm sorry, K1 can still be one. If K1 doesn't get hurt, he can still be one.
Number 2, I'm going with Trevor Lawrence.
Why? He's done nothing.
Playoff game.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
play.
That's what you're doing.
4 touchdowns in a
That's what you're going to
It's
do.
close, though. It is.
Close.
It's close.
What does Trevor do better than
Are you
K1?
basing this on what they've done so far, or who you would rather?
Why? You're smiling.
they've
You
done so
don't
far.
believe
What they've
me.
done so far.
Trevor
Don't
Lawrence,
believe me.
look at what he's done this year.
Whenever you'll notice.
You know how we do.
You'll notice it. You'll see him smile after he said something he doesn't mean
I don't
it.
know if Trevor Lawrence has had a stretch as elite as Kyler's first 8 games were.
The second half of 2022.
He's kind of right.
He's
Second half of 2022 is a movie.
He was,
It was a movie.
but I still think Kyler's first half is better.
He's right.
That
First half 21 was amazing. He has multiple seasons of being really good.
The thing with Trevor is I feel like going forward the ceiling might be a bit different. Just
Going
because
forward,
he
I
has
take
the
Trevor Lawrence,
size.
too.
Yeah, he has.
See, I don't hate that.
Scared.
But that's not the question.
The question is what they done. What has Kyler done?
He has multiple
career
seasons
to
of
this
being
point.
good. Trevor does not have multiple seasons of being good.
That's 2 good seasons.
Are you counting year 3 when he gagged?
Yeah, year 2 and year 3.
Year 2, you got it. Year 3 he was not that good.
But you can't count 2022 if in the second half.
I count
of the year,
2020.
Kyler
Well,
gagged.
no. What? He was hurt.
Come on, dude.
What? He was hurt.
It was worse in the second half of the season.
He was hurt, and DeAndre Hopkins did not play. He was hurt, and DeAndre Hopkins did not play. That's a combination to lose. Wide receiver 1 was AJ Green.
They played against the Rams that year.
Yes,
The Rams.
100%. Don't get me wrong. K1 was not good in that playoff game. He was not good. He was also not in position to play well.
Drew's right. He wasn't 100%. He wasn't healthy.
He was late to throws and he wasn't throwing things.
I agree.
So Trevor Lawrence, year 2, 25-8. That's a great year.
Really
4,000
good.
passing yards.
Really good. And he was a great rusher.
Year 3, 4,000 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 14 picks, 88.5 passer rating.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah.
That's like
But
strong.
he has 2 4K passing seasons. Kyler hasn't.
The 4K passing season, well, that's not
Well, you can make it up.
dual drive. Exactly.
I think it's real close, but I think
You know what I mean? Like,
that playoff win.
yeah, I know you're a playoff guy. So one thing about you, you are consistent as fuck.
Passer rating to this point, Trevor Lawrence is at 85. Kyler Murray is at 92.4.
Hey,
He loves passing.
hey.
The rookie year brings Trevor down a lot.
And the rookie year for K1 was,
It was great. It was a great rookie year.
Rookie
Yeah.
year doesn't. I don't count anything Trevor Lawrence did in his rookie.
Yeah.
I don't either. I don't
You're
either.
telling me Kyler's over Trevor Lawrence because of he won Rookie of the Year.
I'm not saying that.
That I think. What else has he done?
He's has multiple seasons. He's a better passer, allegedly. Allegedly, he's a better. That easily.
Kyler's probably had more help throughout his career. You know, having DeAndre Hopkins, having James Conner.
I don't hate it. You're right. He has had more help.
He didn't like their big acquisition was Gabe Davis. Christian Kirk is solid.
Christian Kirk was really solid.
He was so solid.
I'll say that.
So solid.
Solid is the best
Yes.
we can use to
So
describe him. Evan Ingram, not bad. Not bad. That's a Bronco legend already.
Etienne had a stretch where he was good too, but that fell off. So
Even still, he averaged 4.1 a carry, I think, or 3.9, something like that.
How was your with those?
I would have Baker 1. Again, if I'm combining what they did and what I expect going forward, I have Trevor 2 because I think the potential's higher. But so far, Kyler Murray's been, I think, a better player.
So if you just base it off what they've done so far, you
Kyler
say
too.
Kyler too.
Okay, see the thing. I agree with him 100%. Right now, it's K1. I still, for the
So
longevity
you don't
thing,
value a playoff win.
marginally,
No, it's an impressive win.
yes.
I don't know if I can take one playoff win, and that's the separate.
They came
that's
back
the-
27-0.
he
That
had a playoff
moves me.
Yeah.
one time 3 years ago. Like,
Oh, he was literally 3 years. If I can talk about 4 years, if I can't talk about 4 years, 3 years feels like it's kind of pushing it too, no?
One playoff win is better than 0.
it was 3 years ago. Neither of them have done shit, really.
And what Kyler did was 4 years ago.
Okay, again, they're basically even.
It was 4 years ago. He was hurt.
time he was.
When was the last time he was in the
It was 4
playoffs? He's
years
been in the
ago.
playoffs.
And the last time Trevor did something was 3 years ago. Oh my
Both have
God.
one playoff berth.
They both have one playoff berth, except in the 2 games that Trevor's played, he has at least 1 win.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for K1, he's 0-1.
And in the one game Kyler played in the playoffs, 139 yards, 2 interceptions, 55% completion.
Didn't have his number 1 receiver.
He was
Use context.
He was
Use
hurt.
context.
He was terrible in that game too, though.
I said that. Openly and honestly. You're also going up against one of the better defenses.
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl.
They literally lost to the team that went on to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
There's no way they were favored in that game.
Obviously not. But it was supposed to be a much better game than
That game was great. They got blown out.
they did, but the Cardinals were a good team that year.
Yeah, they just also fell off a cliff.
Yeah, the second half, they're very Steelers.
They didn't even win the division.
And then they
And looking at the tape from that game, Kyler Murray missed a lot of throws that he should have had. Like, I think his rhythm and timing as quarterback, like for the longest time, this why I disagree with your point about like Trevor Lawrence gets the benefit of the doubt. I think Kyler Murray does too, because with Cliff Kingsbury, after he got fired, they blamed him for all the second half collapses, and they said the only reason the Cardinals are perform bad in the second half of the season, that's a Cliff Kingsbury problem. It dates back to college. Then his first year with Jaden Daniels, it's the opposite. They make the NFC Championship. So he showed that if you have a quarterback that can actually execute his scheme, you're going to get those results.
they took Kingsbury's, to play devil's advocate. Kingsbury and Kyler, when they first started together, were on fire. After a few years, offenses were able to figure it out. Part of that I do think was because of Kyler, not just Kingsbury, but of course, never been an NFC Championship game, so maybe it's pointless.
In the second half of the season, it's always been a problem with Kyler, though.
No, for sure.
That's been a thing. So I would rank it Baker 1, Trevor Lawrence 2, Kyler Murray 3.
Yeah, I think people get enamored with Kyler's like peak, like what he can do
What he
at his
can be.
absolute best.
Because when
At his absolute best,
one of the best
it's better than Jalen
Hurts.
Hurts. Now, come on, all right, here we go. See here, I know what you mean now, Drew.
Exactly. I don't hate
This
you
is-
think he's on your side, and then out of nowhere he'll throw the shot.
This is more of a question for you, though.
Yeah.
At his peak, is better than Jalen Hurts or no?
Nah, heck no, because 2022.
He's right. 2022 Hurts was a
But
movie.
but like
Same
Kyler, like, any given, he's like a guy like any given play, like he can do.
Isn't that funny? 2022 you talk, but I can't talk about 2020.
Well, Jalen Hurts a couple months ago, yeah, won a Super Bowl.
I got no problem with that. I love Jalen. I love Jalen. I love Jalen.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you can use 3 years. I can't use 4 years. You can use 3. I can't use 4. That's all I'm saying. Like what you're saying is not. You're right.
You can use that. It's just we've seen Kyler over the last couple of years.
Sure.
I just feel like you cannot ignore
Or
the
is he
sample size.
CL?
So this had to make it or break a year then for you.
I agree. 100%. 100%. This is 1,000%. There is like very few quarterbacks that have the pressure K1 has.
Okay.
I'll throw Trevor in that conversation, truthfully. But I think K1 has more pressure. I think Dak is the only one that might have a little bit more pressure than Justin Herbert. Like those are the 3 guys I look at that have the most pressure on them. Justin Herbert, because you just got absolutely smoked in another playoff game. You choked your first one. You threw 4 INTs in your second one. Dak Prescott, as the Cowboys quarterback, you're always going to be under scrutiny regardless. I think that there's going to be a lot of expectation, especially after the Eagles winning a Super Bowl.
Stat watching crazy here, but he got hurt in 2022, the ACL injury, because last year is when he came back towards the middle of the year, and then Jonathan Gannon his first year. 2022, before the ACL injury, 11 games, 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a 87 passer rating.
Rushing yards, please. Like, you have to. It's K1.
And then he was 3-8. They were losing. Rushing yards, 2022, 418 and 3 touchdowns in 11 games.
It's pretty good.
He was averaging.
This was the last year with Kingsbury,
Yes.
right? 2022.
Last year with Kingsbury, he averaged 38 rushing yards per game. In 2024, he averaged 33.6 rushing yards per game. He just had a better success rate on those.
It wasn't great.
That year, 61% success rate on runs. 2024 was 52.6. So his success rate on his runs was better in 2022. But even when the year he got hurt,
It does make sense, no?
The year
Like,
he got-
pre-ACL, you're better.
the year he got hurt, he still was playing like a run. Like he was playing good. He wasn't
17
playing great.
touchdowns to 7 INTs in
But
11
I
games.
have to get the fumbles and stuff. I don't want to go.
Oh, my God.
You can't.
It's always something.
But you can't mention.
K1 really doesn't fumble too much.
You can't mention rushing touchdowns.
I'm
and not bring
disagreeing.
fumbles.
You're not wrong.
If you want me to bring up total touchdowns, I got to bring up total turnovers.
I guess if you want to do
I
that.
got to.
point.
Yeah. I can't just be like, the fumbles don't matter.
Whatever.
But Kyler, listen, I think when he's at his peak, he's really good.
Do you think that?
I do. I don't think he's Lamar Jackson. Like you thought at one time.
At one time, I did think that. I mean, one time, K1 was a way better passer than Lamar. And now Lamar clears him.
He was just in a good system.
No, when the 4 years ago that I said that, it was right. The 4 years now,
Lamar definitely had,
wildly.
after 2019, definitely had a little fall off.
All that happened is that Lamar got time marking. Once Lamar got Tom Monken,
Oh yeah.
That too,
it was over.
without a doubt.
Greg Roman held him back as a passer, and they had no
Now,
receiving.
now Greg Roman's over there and fucking.
I just don't know how you go from 61, 62% completion percentage to like you don't like every pass is completion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's special.
Like no doubt.
Special dude.
You want to talk about, we throw generational around a little too loosely. Lamar Jackson's generational.
It's his, man.
You know what? Was it you that we were having the conversation? Mahomes is the best player, but the best football player is Lamar Jackson.
No, Mahomes is the best player regardless.
It's just great.
Sorry, he's the best quarterback. He's the best quarterback. Mahomes the best quarterback.
If you took someone and just put him in the backyard, just like a
Tiny.
Lamar
Like if
is
you,
more talented than Mahomes, yeah.
I think that is true.
Yeah.
Because of the rushing ability, I think if you want to value that,
Just as an athlete.
I don't think they
That's
have,
why I say that.
Yeah.
I don't think they have similar arm talent. I think Mahomes is a much more talented thrower of the football than
Lamar's arm
Jackson.
talent is off the fucking charts.
It's so dumb. Like
Can't-
Lamar,
no throw he can.
no, legitimately zero.
The gap in rushing is way bigger than the gap in passing.
I can understand if you're trying to argue Lamar as a talent. I think Lamar is
Yeah.
probably one of the most talented players in history. to him.
1,000%.
But no, I think that even if you're taking him into account as a football player, you still have to say, okay, who is the best player in the NFL at playing the quarterback position? And that involves everything that comes with it is Patrick Mahomes.
Well, yeah, that's what he. That's
what I'm
he
saying.
He said Mahomes is the best quarterback.
He's the best quarterback.
Lamar's
He's
definitely.
the best player playing the quarterback position. Yes, he is.
He's the best player playing the quarterback position. Lamar's still the best player playing any position.
I mean,
That's what it sounds like.
Lamar is just the best athlete
Yeah.
at the quarterback position we've ever seen.
Lamar,
Yeah,
he could catch up to Mahomes.
He's so much better paying man.
Talent-wise,
Lamar?
he does have.
Of course, he clears him talent-wise. He's clearly the more talented player than Manning.
I mean, I'm not mad at it.
No, it's not. That's just Lamar. You're
He's
not
more talented than Tom Brady, who's the GOAT.
Yes, you're not taking a statue being more talented than Lamar. Like, you're just not. Like, if you want to measure to his talent, you have to be able to have a dual threat ability.
Exactly, and there's not many that. I mean, there's literally zero in the history of NFL that have done what
That's
Lamar's
why if he gets a ring, he's top 10 all time.
If
If
he-
he gets multiple rings,
Yes.
then their conversations get.
If he has multiple rings, and this is me, who there is nobody on, let's not go that far, I'm honest. There is nobody on planet Earth who loves Peyton Manning more than me. He wins 2 rings in his prime. With the prime that he's had already, he can pass Peyton.
Yeah, he can be like a top.
Yeah,
He can literally be a top.
Past Mahomes.
How many?
If he gets 2 rings, we can have a conversation.
I think he
Mahomes
needs.
stays at 3.
Okay.
You got Lamar with 2 MVPs.
Yep.
3 first-team All-Pros. If he gets multiple rings, that's the only guy that you can really say he's competing with Mahomes like in this era.
For sure.
If he gets it,
Statistics.
Unless it's
Mahomes
Jalen
keeps
Hurts.
having these kind of
Statistical
mid-statistical years. Lamar's going to pass him everything. He'll pass him total yards and touchdowns and all of that.
Well, he's not going to have another mid-statistical year this year. Mahomes is not.
Never again.
I don't know about ever
It's
again.
been 2 in a row. So they've been 2 years in a row.
And Tom Brady had a lot of years where he wasn't top 3 in stats. He still was the best quarterback in the league.
I don't disagree, but I'm just saying.
No, he wasn't.
It feels like Lamar is doing that.
Planning. What years?
Every year he's the best.
No, he was in the
He's
league.
playing.
No.
Yeah, every year.
It's actually,
everybody.
you're way too smart for a statement that
I
bad.
would take Tom Brady over Peyton Manning.
Because he wasn't, first off, I'm glad that you think I'm talking about Peyton Manning. There was years he was better than Rodgers, like outright.
Yes.
That's another thing. Just in the postseason, Tom Brady.
I was at the very end.
No.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers had a better season, but at the very end, if I want
But I
one guy to
think-
win a game, I'm going with
I
Tom.
think that's how Mahomes is.
Peyton Manning has a winning record against Tom Brady in the playoffs. So what does that say to you, right? A guy who apparently
Does
takes
he have more playoff wins than Tom Brady?
against head-to-head, who has the best record.
Head-to-head, but
In the AFC Championship, who has the better record.
Tom Brady's a better playoff quarterback than Peyton.
Oh, without a doubt.
Do you think? I think the same thing's happening now, where Mahomes is the number 1 quarterback, even though there is arguments. Do you think there's going to be a year upcoming where?
I'll be honest, after this
You know?
season, it's the gap is so much closer than it was after
It's just Mahomes
2023.
playoffs. Just
Lamar and Josh, Lamar's jump this season was astronomical. I genuinely don't know if I watched a quarterback play as perfect as Lamar did this past season. It wowed me beyond belief. Perfect. It sucks that he fell short again in the postseason. It genuinely does. Josh still performed to the Josh level we know in the postseason. You
it
just
wasn't crazy against the Ravens though, and he wasn't.
Whatever. He
with
was
the Chiefs.
against the Chiefs. He was good.
this-
Against the Chiefs, he was
He
good.
was fine. This was Josh's probably most compared to Josh Allen numbers, like average postseason run.
I only think about the 2021 postseason run where he did not play well against the Bengals. That's the one where I think
He played terrible.
he was bad considering who he was. I still think after the regular season he had, the carrying he had to do offensively, the counting stats on top of it, the gap is as close as it's been since Mahomes has been Mahomes.
By every metric, Josh Allen is the second best statistical quarterback in NFL history. The separator between him and somebody like Patrick Mahomes is that Josh Allen's numbers are coming from wild card opponents and divisional round opponents.
Oh.
The farther you get into the postseason, the better defenses and teams that you play overall. And Patrick Mahomes' numbers have consistently remained elite regardless of level and quality of opponent.
I
The
agree.
one time where it hasn't been good is against the Eagles in this past Super Bowl, but every other game,
Tampa Bay.
Mahomes has been, but
We
yes,
can't erase that from
no-
NFL.
numbers wise, he wasn't good. His receivers let him down and dropped a ton of touchdowns in that game. Mahomes actually was amazing in that game.
I just hate that.
He was. He
It
was.
bothers me.
He was.
Like no other player in NFL history would score 7 points,
because you watched the game.
and you get called amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing?
Because you have to look at what happened. Tyreek Hill dropped
He did.
multiple touchdown passes. There was times where Mahomes was getting pressure instantly, breaking out and getting sacked and throwing the ball 40 yards down the field into Tyreek Hill's hands, and he dropped the ball.
Tyreek Hill choked.
So
The same way that Tyreek Hill saved him against San Fran was the same way that Tyreek sold him. It happened. You win some, you lose some.
but that's why I can't say I don't look at that performance and say
How?
Okay,
Yeah,
he's
the
got
best
destroyed twice in the Super Bowl. Like destroyed.
And I'll tell you who has never gotten destroyed in the Super Bowl, the actual GOAT, Tom Brady. Tom Brady's never gotten destroyed in the Super Bowl. And the one Super Bowl he was getting destroyed in,
Came back.
he came back and won.
What was the ranking of the 2017 Eagles defense that year?
It had to
Bottom
been
10?
The 2017 Eagles team,
That beat the
went to the Super
Patriots.
Bowl?
They beat the Patriots.
They were definitely top 5.
On the top five
They
that
were
year.
definitely top 5.
I don't know
and-
about that.
No,
Let me check
no,
that out.
imagine that. What, top 5? And how many yards did Brady throw? Wait, did he break the record for yards in a Super Bowl?
Brady's not the reason.
He literally broke the record for yards in a Super Bowl,
No, you're cooking.
and they lost.
No, the bad defense they played was the Falcons. They were terrible, and the Rams too.
Regardless,
More so
there's
just-
no what Brady has done in the Super Bowls is ridiculous.
I'm
It's
sure it has.
Mahomes just has the resume.
I mean,
Adjustments.
that's why Tom Brady, like, he's the greatest quarterback ever.
Oh,
And
no, I'm
that's
glad you
why
say that.
I love Tom Brady, and that's why Tom Brady also, when asked what quarterback reminds him of himself, he only singles out Mahomes
As you should.
because he's the second
As
best
he
quarterback
should.
ever. There's
Well,
no
he's talking
quarterback-
about right now
there's
because
no-
he knows during his time there was one guy that gave him
his
fits.
time in the
There was
20
one guy that.
in the 2018 AFC Championship during his time. He was so enamored with how Mahomes played that he actually went back to the locker room and talked to him for 15 minutes and told him, "You're
You're
guy.
next.
You're next."
He is.
So
not wrong.
that's the respect he has for him. And, it's,
Don't
I was
care.
thinking about this not too long ago. 2021 Chiefs Bills divisional round.
4 hours.
Josh Allen, he doesn't have the ball to end the game. So they make the rule up.
Change
Change the rule.
They change the rules. so they
Spoiler,
can
it's not the
even it
first
out.
time they changed the rule.
And I actually like that they changed the rule. I feel like it made more sense because I do want to see
I
both
don't
quarterbacks
disagree.
have-
It was a rule change that should have been in place for years.
But a rule change that was not in place and did not change in 2018 when the Chiefs lost to the Patriots in the AFC Championship game and Mahomes in
Offsides.
overtime didn't get the ball back. That game did not end in regulation. That game ended in overtime, and Brady and the Patriots got the ball first. They scored on the Chiefs, and Mahomes didn't get the ball
They
back.
also had a lack of discipline, which hey, that matters.
I think what's even crazier is this year there was a crucial fourth down that the Bills went for. Unfortunately, came up short. You look at the replay, a little iffy. This year, guess what, Drew?
There's VR.
There's VR now. There's
VR,
rule
yeah.
in place
Oh,
that
interesting.
any sort of short yard situation, if it's within a yard, it gets reviewed by VR, AI, whatever this is. Yeah,
They go to Seahawks, and now they got technology to show what all
What's
this.
funny is that I have a quarterback that his move, they were trying to ban it.
why? It was probably
He's
whack,
just
right?
so great at it. So great at it. Multiple time.
But they're the only
That's
team that are allowed to do that,
touchdowns.
right? Every other team not allowed. Only the Eagles can run that play.
Yeah, that's what they act like. Only the Eagles
Yeah.
can do it. Nobody else. Sean McDermott is like unsafe play. He did the exact same play
They run that shit with Josh all the time.
all the time.
It looks different, but they run the same shit.
Funny enough, the Packers were leading the committee to ban the tush push,
Yeah.
and their fourth down conversion numbers this past year were one of the worst in the leagues. It ranked ranked towards the bottom. They were 55% conversion rate on fourth down. Jordan Love quarterback sneaked it 11 times last year during the regular season, and they had an 80% success rate on fourth down. The tush push is 81%, obviously on much more volume. So it was surprising that Matt LaFleur was leading the committee to ban basically a quarterback sneak. Tush push is a little bit different. Quarterback sneak has different mechanics for sure. When Jordan Love on quarterback sneaks, his team, they're successful in those situations. Yeah. So it makes more sense for them to actually learn that instead of trying to ban it.
It's only because we beat them twice, first game of the season, playoffs.
One-score victories.
Yeah. Now, I'll give them playoff. They had a damn good fight.
It shouldn't have been close, but it was close.
Their DC, he's thoroughly outcoached Kellen Moore. I mean, it wasn't even, they were just flat out reading the same routes like they had their own playbook. So they got a damn good DC. We're going to see with the Packers, but they was hating.
Speaking about Lamar Jackson, Super Bowl prediction, yours is Eagles versus Ravens. You have the Eagles winning, I'm assuming, because you're an Eagles fan.
And so it's all dependent on Lamar Jackson. If Lamar Jackson plays at his apex, what he does in the regular season in the Super Bowl, the Ravens got it. But what I do know is my guy, Jalen Hurts, he's going to show up in that moment. The question is Lamar Jackson? And I'm going to bet on Hurts. I'm going to bet on the Eagles. I think their defense will take a little bit of a step back. Instead of being like number 1, number 2, it'll be like 7 or 8, which is still a bit of drop off. They'll still be good. The Ravens defense on all 3 levels, I feel like is going to be excellent. You got on offense, Derrick Henry, who obviously had a great year last year. The offensive line's intact. Best tight end tandem in the game. They don't have the best wide receiver, duo in Bateman and Flowers, but we seen Flowers. He got a Pro Bowl last year. You could argue maybe it was a snub of other guys, but ultimately he got himself a squad. If Lamar plays at an MVP level in the playoffs, nobody, whether it's Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Herbert, whoever, nobody can mess with him.
So I think you're pointing to 2 things here. Number one, I want to ask you, in a big game situation, you think Jalen Hurts, you trust him and you trust him to outperform Lamar Jackson.
Every single time. It was funny when you was talking about Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, you was like, game for your life, Tom Brady over Peyton Manning. I looked right at the camera and I said, that's exactly my point about Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, because in the regular season, it's night and day. Peyton Manning is over Tom Brady, but in a game for your life, I don't think anybody is picking Peyton Manning over Tom Brady because of the intangibles Tom Brady has in those big moments. It's just like Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. Is Lamar better than regular season? For sure, but it is night and day. The same gap in the regular season between Lamar and Hurts is the same gap in the postseason between Hurts and Lamar. So I definitely got Hurts in big game.
And the second point you were speaking to, and this is what we were talking about before, is Lamar Jackson pretty much has the most to gain from winning the Super Bowl.
I can't name a quarterback in the last decade that has more to gain from a Super Bowl than Lamar Jackson. You give Lamar Jackson a Super Bowl indulgence. You've been saying this for years at this point. He gets put in all-time conversations. Lamar Jackson, I think 2 years ago, had his best chance to win a Super Bowl. That defense was perfect. You didn't have Derrick Henry, but damn it, that defense was so good. Your offense was really clicking. I thought that was the year to do it. You couldn't get past Mahomes. You couldn't get past the Chiefs. And unfortunately, he did come up short in that game as well. I didn't think we saw the best version of Lamar Jackson, albeit Zay Flowers did fumble at the 1-yard line. If he wins a championship this year, he gets put in all-time conversations. I'm with you, though, MJ. The Ravens and the Eagles are going to be my early Super Bowl prediction as well. The Ravens are my team in the AFC this year. I just don't see a roster top to bottom more talented than the Baltimore Ravens. Derrick Henry is the ageless wonder. He's continuing to get better as he gets older. He just got a good offensive line again at the age of 30, and he's averaging 5.9 a carry. He gets overlooked because Saquon has a 2,000-yard rushing season, but Derrick Henry ran for 1,921 yards and almost 20 touchdowns. If Saquon didn't exist, we're still talking about Derrick Henry as the king of the running back position. The defense is still great, and it turned it up in the second half of the year. An amazing offensive line. After the first few weeks, which we're thinking, this offensive line's doomed, it's terrible. Suddenly they turn it around, they get healthy, and now we're talking about one of the best offensive lines in the league. This team, top to bottom, is the closest we have to beating the Eagles. And with the Eagles having all the subtraction that they had this offseason, they are a youthful team. Yes, that's what's going to carry them for years to come. I think the Eagles obviously still have a window to win again. I think this year, this is the Ravens' real best chance to win a Super Bowl. And I'm with you. If Lamar plays like Lamar does in the regular season, I think it's easy the Ravens win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's tough because I felt like Lamar in the first half of the Bills game obviously didn't play up to standard. Second half, that shit ended up a fight. Like, obviously, ended up in that situation because of him. But these last 2 years, it feels like it's just slipping through their fingers. Like, no pun intended. Literally. Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, just two huge moments that can change the game. And I hear what you're saying with Hurts and Lamar, right? In a big game, in the 2 Super Bowl games, Jalen Hurts played out of his mind. I'm not mad at that take. I do think Lamar's playoff wounds, or however you want to shake it, has mostly been from early in his career before Todd Monken. Last year, he was number 1 in EPA per play in the playoffs. Over the last 3 years, he has been number 2 in EPA per play in the playoffs, only behind Jaden Daniels, who has really only had 1 season. So if you want, you could count Lamar in that top 3. He has put his teams in position to win these games, and he hasn't been able to get it done. That's why I'm not mad at you taking Hurts, or if people want to take Hurts and Burrow and these guys. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you because I do agree that numbers don't tell the full story, but I do think the way he struggled early in his career when it was a different system and he wasn't as refined as a passer still gets knocked on him. I think right now when you go into it, you should trust Lamar in the playoffs. I didn't think Josh Allen outplayed him in the playoffs by any means last season, and he has shown, although not in the games against Mahomes now where it absolutely matters, he has shown that the playoffs aren't too bright. It's not too big a moment, and he's just going to curl up. The next step is, can he pass Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes? If he does that, though, I mean, if he gets a ring, no one gets more added to their resume. Josh Allen is close because if Allen gets a ring now, he's in top 10.
For sure.
But it's really Lamar because at least Josh has those games against Mahomes where you could go bar for bar.
Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, to me, are very similar in terms of their resume. The only thing that's separating them at this point is another MVP for Josh Allen. If Josh Allen hypothetically wins an MVP and then goes on a superb playoff run, there's no argument to put Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen.
I agree.
Even though I think Lamar Jackson has a spectacular season this past year, I think although the last 2 years he's been better with Tom Monken, those have been, for the most part, wild card divisional round games, especially this year's wild card game. But the year before, 2023, it was a divisional round game.
I mean, Josh Allen hasn't been, outside Lamar, Josh Allen hasn't been any quarterback in the playoffs.
I agree with you. Neither has Lamar Jackson.
No.
At the end of the day, what I look at is that Lamar Jackson, in those moments where he faces the Buffalo Bills, in those moments where he faced the Chiefs last year in the AFC Championship game, he has multiple turnovers. And Lamar Jackson, he was great in the second half. For a quarterback who had 4 picks on the season, to throw half of that in one first half that both were mind-boggling picks, and then also having fumbled snap in that game as well, I mean, those things matter.
True.
So I think that Lamar Jackson needs to play to the level of Josh Allen in the postseason, because one thing about Josh Allen, he has not beat Mahomes in the playoffs, but Josh Allen has always played at a very high level against the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think that is the edge that he has over him. But I do agree that Lamar Jackson, as of right now, has the most to gain by winning a Super Bowl. I think if he wins one, his resume becomes damn near impeccable. And I'll do a little question with you guys. If Lamar Jackson wins the Super Bowl, is he over these all-time quarterbacks, starting with
nasty?
Is he over Dan Marino all time?
Yes. He's over. Yeah, easily.
Is he over John Elway?
Yes.
Yes.
I can hear it. That's tough.
I'm taking him over.
That's tough. Elway was amazing. He was amazing.
All-time guys.
They are. That's tough. Ooh.
Don't even get Derek Carr.
No, he also, Lamar doing it at his peak, it moves me. I would say Lamar.
Is he better than Brett Favre?
He'd be over Favre.
Yes.
Favre would have more MVPs.
Favre did 3 years running MVP.
Yeah.
3 years running. he was kind of a choke artist in playoffs too.
Shitty person.
You know, kind of.
Very shitty.
Very.
We are. I mean, we're talking about football.
Sorry. I feel like context.
3 first-team
Lamar's great in the community.
Lamar, like
3 years in a row MVP.
the rushing ability.
You're not wrong.
It's close. I'll give you that. I'll pick Lamar.
I would say because Favre did this. He had this arc already. 3 MVPs, Super Bowl in that time. People thought they were watching the second coming. And then, obviously, time kind of caught up to him. Didn't win as much as they thought he would. So
Rodgers-esque.
low-key, very low-key. I would say, at that point, still give me Favre, but 2 championships, obviously.
Aaron Rodgers.
I'm going to take Rodgers.
I think I would take Rodgers.
I'm going with Rodgers too. Drew Brees.
I would take Lamar Jackson.
I'm going to take Lamar Jackson.
I would take.
That's tough, though.
It's
Folks
not.
now,
easy.
I don't agree, but folks now are already saying Lamar is over Drew Brees. Y'all know I'm a
that?
playoff guy.
Yeah.
I gotta go with Drew. Plus, like, his longevity is up there, but with the championship and MVPs, all pros, rushing stats mixed with just what you've been able to do as a passer, 41 passing touchdowns, and you don't even have a top 10 wide receiver on your
It's
team.
insane.
That's it. It's crazy.
He was I'm being so serious. It's the best season I've ever seen.
He was insane.
And I watched Payton throw 55, and that was better.
Rodgers might be the cutoff.
Rodgers might be it.
So
So
be tough.
So you're saying top 10. I think he can be in some top 5. Like, only one is like, all right, Brady. All right, Brady,
Top 5 is
Brady,
strong.
Montana,
Mahomes.
Peyton.
Rodgers. So then
6.
So six.
He's on the outside.
Is he better than Favre? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, what?
all right,
He went 3 MVPs and a chip in that time. That's kind of Lamar, except he has 1 less MVP. He would have a chip in this world. That's kind of why I'm like, I don't know if I would overly commit to that.
As a playoff guy right now, would you put Eli Manning over Lamar Jackson all time?
Oh, no.
I mean,
No.
playoff performer, it's not close.
No, it's not close. Because Eli is,
I mean,
yeah, he can't forget. I ain't gonna lie. I think
You have to, like, you have to support Eli Manning right now.
Yes,
I think if you said game for my life, yeah, it's gonna be Eli. But for like the whole entire season,
I mean,
yeah, I go
MJ, there's nothing wrong with saying that because there are so many quarterbacks better than Eli Manning in NFL history. There are not many.
he is the biggest one out.
I would take over Eli in a do or die.
And Eli Manning is the better brother at quarterback in the playoffs.
Oh my God.
He's better than Payton. In the playoffs? Come on.
No,
Yeah.
in his Super Bowl run, the first go round, he got carried. The second one, that is the best run of the Manning brothers. I will say that.
We don't got to talk about their pass rush. Just he broke out of the sack, goes downfield, overtime. That's all that matters.
7 picks.
I don't care. I
He
don't.
got
He was
carried.
Super Bowl MVP. No, he didn't.
He got it. Bob Sanders told me back when he
All right, no. He got carried. What about the 2006 AFC Championship game? I showed you the highlights.
Yeah,
I showed you the film.
Yes.
So in the game that was the real Super Bowl, because the winner who played that game was winning the Super. The Patriots were going to win the Super Bowl.
they have an extra ring.
I'm not saying all that. Our championship was beating the Patriots
It was.
because we knew what was happening against the Bears.
Yeah.
And Peyton was Super Bowl MVP.
It's like the Knicks and Celtics.
Eli
Exactly.
Manning didn't get carried his first one, though.
No, he did.
Yeah.
He did
Both
not.
ones he had outstanding numbers.
No, I mean, not outstanding.
His second one, it was
The second one is by like
But his first one-
undeniably 9 touchdowns, 1 I think you're right.
Yeah, I thought it was
No, it's 9 touchdowns because I know he was 1 touch short of 10.
9.
But
his first one. It
5
was
and 5.
his first one was 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, and an 85.7 passer rating.
That's solid.
That's
solid
great.
shit.
And
No,
that's-
great.
Yeah.
On the road against Tampa.
I mean,
Shout out against
Eli, I'm sorry.
on the road against Green Bay and then New England.
Yeah.
It was 4, and he was on the road every game.
Yep.
No, it was an amazing run. Sorry, you didn't get carried. You're
No, Eli's one.
a legend.
But I do think Lamar has the most again. You know, we'll see what happens with Lamar Jackson.
Well, makes the playoffs.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
I tested out your criteria right there.
Yeah.
Eli versus Lamar.
it's just like Eli was never top 3, top 4, top 5 ever in his career.
That 11 season,
That's
he was
like-
he was close.
He was top 10 every year.
But it wasn't sustained.
But it was almost 5,000 yards, and you go on a Super Bowl run. That's one of the best we've seen in our lives. That was as close as he's gotten to top 5, top 4.
Like Phillip Rivers and Big Ben consistently outproduced them in the regular season for the most part.
But that 11th season, I mean, Eli.
Yeah. But I think that's what we're saying is that Eli could have a year, but he was never.
That 11th season,
not fun.
you're taking Rodgers, you're taking Breeze, you're taking Brady, you're taking Peyton. I think was hurt that season.
Yeah.
Peyton was hurt, so take him away. That's the conversation right there between Ben, Rivers, and him.
Yeah. I mean, after the Super Bowl, you definitely take him over the rest of those guys.
100%.
Speaking about Lamar Jackson, Lamar has the most to gain by winning the Super Bowl. Recent Super Bowl champion Jalen Hurts. A lot has been gained from him winning this monumental game. Where do you have him ranked? Where is he right now?
At worst, top 3. I got Mahomes number 1 and Hurts number 2. I know it sounds crazy, yo. You have him over Josh, over Lamar, over Burrow. I think it's a good debate. I got one pushback. I think with Burrow, he automatically gets put in top 3, top 4 talks. When in the past 3 years, Jalen Hurts has more Super Bowl appearances than he has playoff appearances. So I know a lot of the conversation is, well, the passing yards. He doesn't have 4,000 passing yards this past season. He doesn't have 3K passing yards. He even had 18 passing touchdowns. But if you look at a lot of the Eagles games, the Steelers game is a great example. Hurts had 290 passing yards. In the fourth quarter, they ran the clock out for 10 straight minutes to help out the defense. And that's why, he hasn't had such gaudy numbers because he's such a great threat in the run game and he plays complementary football to win. And so I look at a guy that in the biggest moments, I saw him go toe-to-toe with Mahomes twice. We can argue the first one. The second one, he completely outplayed him. I've seen him in the past 2 seasons beat Mahomes, beat Stafford, beat Burrow, beat Allen, beat Lamar. All these guys, he's done it. So whatever you need him to do, he will do it. And then the argument that gets me the most upset is that he wouldn't be nothing without Saquon. When I've seen this guy with Miles Sanders as his running back. Miles Sanders.
Shout out to Booby, bro.
And no running game in the Super Bowl. No. Go toe-to-toe. Drop 30-plus points. Do something that only Joe Montana and he did 35-plus points in multiple Super Bowls. I feel like big game. Hurts is that guy. And he does what he got to do to win.
So you think that Jalen Hurts can put up the numbers Joe Burrow can put up, but Joe Burrow can't win like Jalen Hurts can win?
I don't think Joe Burrow can win like that because we saw the GOAT and Tom Brady say, look, you can pass for 40-something touchdowns, but if you're not helping out the defense like that, now am I going to say Burrow isn't helping out the defense? Look, we don't know that. What I do know is I was on Spot Track, and I saw on Spot Track that Joe Burrow is making $45 million this year. And Jalen Hurts is making $21 million. I saw Jalen Hurts' agent, Nicole Lynn, say, Jalen Hurts' biggest thing was don't F up the team when getting my massive contract. And so I look at that and I say, part of this Eagles team being so good is because Jalen Hurts and Howie Roseman, they've been able to structure his contract to where he isn't a huge cap hit. You can get a guy in Zach Bond, in Saquon Barkley, and A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith not have the contract issues that they have. And what Hurts does, could he go for 4,000 passing yards? Yeah, but is the team going to go out here and, win 14 games multiple times, get to the Super Bowl multiple times? I don't know that. So if you're a fan of a team, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, are you picking 40 touchdowns and gaudy stats and missing the playoffs because you couldn't beat the Patriots week 1 and you're known for slow starts in the season? Or would you like a guy that consistently wins, consistently produces, and when his number is called upon, he answers?
Quick question. I think what you're saying makes sense.
There's some basis behind it.
Most of it has nothing to do with football. I don't understand what is the best way to help a defense? To me, if I was a defensive player, I want my offense to score points. So I could pin my ears back. I could rush the passer. I know they're not going to have to run if we're up by 14 points. Joe Burrow leads efficient offenses. Like night in and night out, he leads great offenses. The Eagles control the clock better, and part of that is due to Jalen Hurts. I think a big part of that, because you're right, even when they had Miles Sanders, they were still a good run game. Last year, having Saquon Barkley takes that to a millionth level. So what on the field? Because scoring points, Joe Burrow has shown that offense can do it. And the contract, you guys have the best front office in the NFL. You have one of the best, maybe the best front office in all of sports. The way Howie Roseman is able to manipulate deals to keep cap hits down, and still while you're giving out contracts, making moves in free agency and in trades, you have the best front office in the NFL, and the Bengals have one of the worst, right? Like Trey Hendrickson is still unsigned. They had to go the last minute for Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They're not a good front office. Those are out of Joe Burrow's control. There's nothing he can do. So what on the field does Hurts do better than? We could just say Burrow. We could open up to Allen Lamar if you want. But since we're talking about Burrow, we could just say Burrow.
We talk about Burrow as a runner. It's clear, not even close.
For sure.
There we go there.
Great rusher.
What Burrow got, he's better in terms of not taking sacks. Because Hurts,
maybe the best in the
his
league.
issue is he will hold on to the ball too long.
Holds on the ball longer.
And a lot of the issue is he's been told, all right, don't turn over the ball. Like at Allen and all these guys, don't turn over the ball. But 2023 was the year that Hurts turned over the ball way too much. He's been able to already minimize that, but he got to improve on not getting sacked. I'll give Joe Burrow that. If he had an offensive line like the Eagles, he wouldn't get sacked like that. And Burrow is a better processor. Like he just can go through his checks 1 through 4 or whatever. He's like that. Better deep ball is Jalen Hurts. It's Jalen Hurts.
Is it? Do the numbers say that?
I wouldn't, if it did, I wouldn't be surprised.
I think that deep ball is enlarged has been due to the receivers that you have.
They both have elite receivers,
yeah.
So it cancels out.
Jalen Hurts has A.J. Brown. Joe Burrow has Jamar Chase. But there's a reason why somebody like Patrick Mahomes, his efficiency on deep balls has lowered throughout the past couple of years because he just doesn't have a threat like that down the field that he can consistently throw to. And I think if you want to give Jalen Hurts deep ball, I think that I disagree with it, but I think that's just one facet of it. Overall, I think Joe Burrow has better pocket presence. He's a more accurate quarterback. He's better post-snap. And I think that every throw Jalen Hurts can make on the field, Joe Burrow can make on the field. I think he has more arm talent. He has the ability to make more throws in more creative ways. And I think rushing the ball, Jalen Hurts is a better runner. But I think outside, out of structure play, I would still lean Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow's able to break out the pocket better. I think he's able to roll out and hit players down the field better than Jalen Hurts. So I just think at the quarterback position, Joe Burrow is better than Jalen Hurts. And I think a lot of things you mentioned are due to team construct. I think the Bengals the Bengals front office is not a good front office. The way that they structured Burrow's deals is different than Hurts because Howie Roseman is pushing money down the line like the Saints did with Drew Brees. So Jalen Hurts is getting a big contract. They're just pushing it into basically salary bonuses so that they don't have to pay it out right now and it doesn't show up in a cap hit right now. And that's more so on the genius of the front office. But I don't think that can be held against Joe Burrow in this conversation.
I don't hate the argument. Why? Because it's unique. Let's just throw that out there. I say that where there's some truth to that. You have $25 million to play around in the margins. That makes sense. That's very beneficial to what the Eagles have been able to do, especially this past season. I also will say the technician that Howie is in the drafts as well. You get Quinyon Mitchell, you get Cooper DeJean. The years before that draft, you get Nolan Smith. You've been able to hit on guys that, or you've been able to quote unquote, I'll say luck into in terms of your draft position where Jalen Carter falls to you guys a little bit later in the back end of the top 10. Quinyon Mitchell dropping into the 20s, that surprised me. Quinyon, to me, was my favorite corner in the draft. I thought he'd go sooner. And Cooper DeJean being a second-round pick, I don't think anybody saw that. I thought Cooper seemed like he was a lock first-round pick. You guys definitely... Nolan Smith dropping to what was it, the damn near last pick of the first round. You guys have been able to really hit on some draft picks. But that money makes sense. Those moves that you can make around the margins to make your team better, you can go and get a Saquon Barkley. We see the Dallas Cowboys miss out on Derrick Henry because they fucked around with their contracts too much. Yes, that's another bad GM. I'll give you that. But that does matter in this conversation. I think when you look at Jalen Hurts' best passing moments, what MJ is saying, there's truth behind it.
It's in the biggest games, and it's when he's being tested the most in terms of teams saying, we're selling out on the run. We're forcing you to beat us as a passer because we simply don't think that you're good enough to do so. Game 1, they lost. They didn't lose because of Jalen Hurts. We all know that. Shout out to the Chiefs. They executed on 100% of their opportunities. They did not lose that game because Jalen Hurts was an inefficient passer. It was one of the best passing performances we've seen from Jalen Hurts. And I would argue it was better than this most recent Super Bowl.
Well, it was this one. He was just managing the game.
He was managing, and even still, there was moments where he just put it on a dime. When you need him the most, when you call his number, he's going to answer.
So does that put you in the top
I'm not
2?
going to say that,
Here's
no.
the thing,
But what I'm saying is, if you were to put yourself in that mindset, I can hear the argument.
Because here's the thing with Jalen Hurts, and I think Joe Burrow's a better quarterback. I basically understand your arguments for each one. He's better than Joe Burrow because of postseason success, and he has Super Bowl. He's better than Lamar Jackson because he's better in the playoffs, and he's better than Josh Allen because he has a Super Bowl. Because Jalen Hurts is not better than Josh Allen in the regular season or in the postseason. In the postseason, Josh Allen is clearly statistically better than him. And this is where what you said made me think of this thought.
Mm-hmm.
They're telling Jalen Hurts that they don't think that he can beat them. I don't think it's necessarily that. I think that if you're playing the Eagles, and this is not a knock on Jalen Hurts, this is a testament to the Eagles, your best way to beat them is by forcing them to throw the ball. That is just the bottom line. If you don't stack the box and put 7 to 8 defenders constantly, that offensive line is going to dominate the game. And that creates one-on-ones for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on the outside. And those guys against second corners or any corner in the league, they're going to win those matchups consistently. So I think that the difficulty of defenses that Jalen Hurts faces is not at the same level of Joe Burrow. His offensive line is going to protect him better than Burrow's offensive line is going to protect Burrow. His receivers are getting bracketed down the field because they don't have to worry about a dominant defensive line. Imagine if Joe Burrow had an elite running game with him and you had to play one-on-one with Jabbar Chase and T. Higgins. Joe Burrow was able to make the Super Bowl with teams constantly bracketing them and him still creating explosive plays down the field. So I don't think it's a knock on Jalen Hurts and his passing. I think it's that the only way we're going to beat the Eagles is if we first stop their running game, because the only way we can actually get this team to maybe fold a little bit is if we put them into obvious passing down situations and they're playing from behind. But because they have such a dominant team, they almost never play from behind. So I think that's the difference, because Jalen Hurts, statistically, EPA per play wise, he was 25th against zone coverage. But when you're playing a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, you're not seeing those coverages as much. And he wasn't that great against too high coverages either. And when you're playing in a system like that, you're not going to see those defenses as often because of how much they have to allocate to the box. So I think that they have different degree of difficulties offensively. And I think there's no knocking Hurts for his performances. He's been a big game performer, and I think that is a title that he has earned. But at the same time, it's done a little bit differently than how these other quarterbacks have to move their offenses down the field.
I think it's multiple layers to it, because I agree that if you're Steve Spagnuolo, your focus should be, I gotta stop the run game. Like, that's the only hope you do have.
It's true.
The issue that I have, a lot of people from Philly have, is you can't say, all right, we don't trust the Eagles when they pass, when it's all on Jalen Hurts, we don't trust. And then when he does it, oh, well, you're supposed to do that. Well, how can you ever, like, what's the point of even having the game if you can't even, like, so like, that's like our main thing. And I get like the Burrow debate. My thing with him is he extremely talented? Yes. Is there a reason why he was the number 1 overall pick? Yes. All-time great season at LSU. He has helped revive the Bengals. Definitely. I mean, it's the reason why the offensive lineman was like, he's like our everything, our Lord and Savior. Like, it's the reason why I said that.
The fact that the Bengals are relevant is testament to Joe Burrow.
Yeah, it's
literally,
100%.
Literally.
I mean, Brian Flores was literally going to get paid $100K a game to get Joe Burrow, whatever. So I understand that. I just feel like we jumped the gun in terms of what somebody has actually produced, you're talking about out of 9 quarterbacks since 1994 have a Super Bowl MVP and an All-Pro. And Jalen Hurts is one of those guys. Talking about Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, like Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning. Like, these are all-time Pantheon greats. Am I saying Hurts is that right now? I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is when we even get past the Allens, the Jacksons, the Burrows, and then we talk about the Herberts and the Goffs, especially Jared Goff.
That kills
because
me.
he has had
that kills me.
That was a terrible.
It was a terrible time in football. Terrible time in football.
Playoff game.
Horrible.
And the QB wins not stat crowd. That win or that loss rather is a reflection of Jared Goff in that moment not living up to the bill. So the whole conversation, yes, like, do I believe Hurts is top 3, top 2? I trust him, with everything I got in the game for my life for sure. But it gets disrespectful when it's guys that are putting up gaudy stats, haven't won a playoff game, and they're anointed because in the regular season they pass better. So that's our only thing.
So I think that's different than Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow's been to AFC Championship and the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and
especially
in the biggest moments,
when he's had help, and he's played at a high level in those moments as well. I think the loss thing that you mentioned with its reflection on Jared Goff, I agree. But I also think that there are wins that are not a true reflection of a quarterback. Like Jalen Hurts against the Rams. I thought he had a poor game, and the defense was the unit that got the stop to win the football game. And by your criteria, you think that Matthew Stafford is also better than Joe Burrow, correct?
I think right now, given my criteria, he got Super Bowl. He has more longevity. He's been healthier. I think that's never knock on Joe Burrow. He hasn't been healthy. It's a reason why he hasn't made the playoffs every single year, because of his health. That's got to be taken into account. So, yeah.
I'll tell you this. There's a reason why he listed all those names, and Matthew Stafford was not mentioned. Mm-hmm. He's a smart guy.
Because Stafford...
there's only one guy out of the four that we mentioned, in Burrow, Allen, Lamar, and Mahomes, that can hang with them.
So where's Matt Stafford in your conversation then? Because then he has to be Jalen Hurts. He has to be over Jalen Hurts.
Over?
Yes, because he has a Super Bowl.
He doesn't have the All-Pro. He doesn't have the MVP.
He doesn't have the All-Pro.
He doesn't have the Super Bowl MVP. He
doesn't
have to be over him.
He's also in three appearances against Jalen Hurts. I know y'all don't like the head-to-head, but beating somebody 3 times and them not winning 1 time has got to account for something.
Here's where I'll push back on that. Matthew Stafford, accolades-wise, sure. I'm not really going off of accolades. I'm going off of
that's what he was using.
I understand, but did Jalen Hurts in his Super Bowl MVP year play better than Matthew Stafford in his Super Bowl game? Because in 2021, I think Matthew Stafford performed better than Jalen Hurts just did against the Chiefs this go around.
You're saying Matthew's run versus Hurts' run.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Matthew's run versus Hurts'
run. Because I was just saying, Super Bowl game,
in the playoffs.
Super Bowl game.
Well, just the Super Bowl game, I think Matthew Stafford was better.
No.
It was.
No.
You're saying this
won the
past
MVP?
year?
Yes.
He won MVP. It was Cooper Kupp.
I know.
And if I'm being honest,
and
Matthew
it could have been
Stafford,
Aaron Donald.
It could have easily been Aaron Donald.
There
was 2 players before
was
him.
really good.
I think that this past Super Bowl, the most valuable player was awarded to Jalen Hurts because the defense collectively was the most valuable unit in the game, and they couldn't single out one player. But I think that Josh Sweat would have been a very deserving Super Bowl MVP as well.
Jalen also played perfect.
But he played really well. I'm not saying he didn't, but they were blowing them out due to like 2 defensive touchdowns in that game. So I look at that and I say the defense was the most valuable performer in the Super Bowl this past year.
Yeah, I mean, they dominated them, so it kind of skews things. I have a question for you, because I'm sure you get this all the time, but I feel like the easiest argument against this is, given this year for the Eagles, don't you think these quarterbacks could have done the same thing? Don't you think if Lamar, Josh, Stafford, Burrow, however long this list goes, because I think they've all had pieces of what the Eagles have. They've all had times where they've either had an elite defense, an elite run game, an elite receiver, elite offensive line.
They just haven't had it at the same time like the
none
Eagles.
of them have ever had it at the same time exactly. So if those quarterbacks but he never had elite receivers. He never had both an elite receiver
Flowers
and
a
elite
Pro Bowler.
It's a
Mark
Pro
Andrews
Bowl
still
shit.
Mark Andrews.
Mark
and
Andrews
he had
fell
Derek
off.
Henry,
Yes.
who rushed for almost 2
We're talking about
bands.
AJ fucking Brown.
They also had an amazing defense, and
doesn't
they had an
compare.
amazing offensive line.
It doesn't. This past year doesn't compare. It doesn't.
No,
It doesn't.
I think again, Drew.
I'm
Lamar's
not saying
had
that
some
the
of
team
these.
was the Eagles. I'm not saying their team was the Eagles. I'm saying
yes.
And
They've had
talking
some of
about
these.
having everything.
They've had some of
he
it.
basically has everything.
They've had some
Lamar
of it.
Jackson has had some of the things, not everything, but
got enough.
He's had
It
enough.
doesn't
years
to
match
ago
match
when the
Eagles.
defense was-
it doesn't match the Eagles, but he had enough.
2 years
That's
ago,
what I'm
I don't
saying.
dis-
That's
I don't
all I'm
disagree.
saying.
I'm not saying Lamar has not gotten. I 100% with
Thank
you.
you.
Lamar has had
Thank you.
enough. For
That's
sure.
what I'm saying.
But I'm saying like this past year, right? 2 years ago, when the Ravens defense one of the best we've ever seen.
Offense was not that good.
No, like they didn't
comparatively
have
to this
Derrick
year.
Henry yet.
I agree.
Mark Andrews has fallen off. Like he's been a touchdown guy, but he is outside the red zone, not someone you can rely on.
And Zay Flowers was hurt this past
Shout out
year
to Pro
in
Bowl.
the playoffs.
I mean, AJ Brown's a top 3 receiver in the
course.
league. Zay's like
Of
20th at
course.
best.
I'm not
Zay's
comparing
not
the
better
Eagles
than
to the
Devontae.
Ravens.
Zay's not better than Devontae.
I'm not here comparing the Ravens to the Eagles. What you drew up was having everything.
Yeah.
Lamar
He's still right on that.
said
though.
kind of
That's a
has
right-
everything.
No, that's a right.
Now
What he said is the
this
right
is,
statement.
I mean, this is the closest he has gotten. The offensive line, it's good, not as good as the Eagles.
The Ravens' offensive line is great.
It is.
not
the
as good as
Eagles
the
is
Eagles.
like the best in the league. Good though.
But like
course,
your
it's
point
still
is
great.
like
Yeah,
the
his point
argument that
was it had- he
all right,
had
the
to
they have
hypothetical-
he has
and yeah.
literally every Lamar. Again, I'm not disagreeing. Lamar has 70% of it.
70.
He has 70, but not in 1 year has he had the best offensive line in the sport, the best running back in the sport, a top 3 receiver, a top 15
This
receiver,
is
and the
right.
best defense
This
in the
is
sport.
right. This is
That's
right.
what Jalen Hurts
That's
just
what he's
had.
been saying, though. That's what he's been saying.
I heard has everything. I look at the Ravens.
They don't have
kind
everything.
of
No,
have
they're
everything.
fucking amazing. They're a
Their
top 3
receiving
team in the
core
league.
is
I'm
one
not-
of the bottom barrel ones.
I'm
in the
not
league.
doing this.
It's
I'm
towards
not
the
doing
bottom.
No,
this.
it's not.
Yes, it is. It's towards the
Rashad
bottom.
Rashad
not
Bateman
great.
is underrated, and Zay Flowers just made the Pro
Dude,
Bowl.
it's
The
average
Pro
at
Bowl
best.
shit's nuts, Drew.
Why?
Zay Flowers is what the 20th best receiver in the
He
league.
is, but he's still a
It's-
good,
it's
a
average
really
at
good
best.
receiver.
It's 15th. It's
Rashad
probably
Bateman
15th.
is really good and was one of the most efficient wide
Drew,
receivers in
it's
football
average
last
at
year.
best. It's average at best. That's what it is.
But like Peyton Manning is a clear example that he's had great offensive lines, Marvin Harrison, phenomenal teams.
He didn't have to. Use
But then come to playoffs,
For sure.
he ain't
He's
get it
fall-
done.
yeah.
So what you're
our-
saying is
our
that you can have
argument-
everything and not get it
Yeah,
done.
like to a lesser degree, Anthony Richardson. The Colts
God.
got a squad, bro.
Yeah.
And he hasn't delivered at all. Josh
He's saying on
Down,
a lesser degree.
so-
I get the
No,
point.
no, no,
I
no.
get the
Saying, like,
sentiment.
even I'm sorry, I got to do this. Tua.
Again, here we go.
Like,
This is two
like
shots.
Tua,
in three.
they got a great offensive. They got a great squad, and then it gets cold, and it's like Tua.
There's
not
not a
the
lot
same guy.
of teams that
So,
got the line and
Jalen
we're
Hurts in the
saying-
snow.
all
Don't
we're
make me
saying
do
is-
it. All right.
And you've been on my side. All I've been
Exactly.
saying is like
He got yerked up. That's what I'll
we
say.
don't. The whole hypothetical thing. We're not really buying that because like you still got to go out there and do it.
For sure.
I'm not
You
buying
still
into
gotta-
hypothetical.
Jared Goff had everything with the Rams. Fell short.
Yeah.
Jared
Yeah.
Goff had almost
But
everything with the Lions.
we're not
I'll give him the
comparing-
benefit of the doubt he got injured.
We're not comparing Jared Goff here. It's like, you know what I mean? We're
No,
comparing
but I'm
high
saying
You
level
want to
guys.
compare like Lamar? I
think
feel like
Hurts is,
we don't know. I really don't know what Lamar. Somebody can like think, but do I know that Lamar is gonna win? You can have a good educated guess.
What
but
game doesn't
we
Lamar
also
win
have-
last year for you?
I think the Rams game,
Facts.
but
That's
I think
the
the
one.
Rams
Played great
game.
against-
exactly.
He got sacked all the time.
Exactly. That's
Like,
a
he didn't
fact.
have a great
but
The
game.
only
but
difference,
how do we
the
know that
only
Lamar
difference
would have played
was
well?
the reason why the Eagles won that game is because Jalen Hurts did not turn over the ball.
Mhm.
I think in that
Against the
game
Rams?
against the Rams,
He just
they
got
did not.
sacked.
He
9
not turning over the
times.
ball. He had like the whole
He had a shit
the
ton of
whole
sacks.
like safety, but like in terms of like
And he
a
cost them
fumble,
points. That's
but like,
the
just like a
matters.
fumble, like a pick.
But he got
like
sacked
Kyron Williams
so
fumbling the ball.
many times.
He
that
did,
game.
and that was offensive
perked
line's
up and
terrible
injured.
game.
Sure.
The offensive
sure.
line had a terrible game, but the difference with Hurts is for the most part, he has 20 touchdowns, to like 3 turnovers in
he's
the
great at
playoffs.
it.
They
I
won
think
that
they're
game
like-
because the defense held
Yeah,
Matthew
no, like the
Stafford.
defense,
That's why.
like and defense is Saquon. They were the reasons why we won that game. But for the most part, you're not gonna have a game where Hurts turns over the ball, loses it for you. Like it's not gonna be that.
So look, I think your biggest argument against Lamar Jackson is that Lamar Jackson had bad playoff moments. I think that's the biggest argument. And what you're saying is that even if Lamar has all this perfectness around him, he could still lose. Like he's been losing and underperforming. I think that argument falls short more so for Josh Allen and Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I think with Josh Allen, my issue with him is that play. I mean that play, like the play to win the game. I keep going back to that last drive against the Chiefs to not even tie it up. Like,
Not
what
even
are we
field goal
talking
position,
about?
Not even range.
Don't
Like,
even
wait,
get
what are
into
we
field
talking
goal.
about?
You're Josh Allen.
Yeah, get 30 yards.
That's
Like,
crazy.
I think Joe Burrow gets that.
I
think
don't
Joe
just
Burrow
yo.
gets that.
That's a good
Joe Burrow
take.
didn't
Joe-
get that though
When?
in the 2022 AFC Championship.
But unlike Allen,
But
actually
he didn't
beat
have
Mahomes,
last
though.
licks.
He did
No, the Chiefs kicked a game-winning field goal.
in the 2022 AFC Championship.
Yes. The
Joe
Chiefs
Burrow-
walked off on a field goal.
No. Joe Burrow, yeah, but Joe Burrow had the ball last with a chance to go down the field
In
and
the
score
fourth.
But it was
points,
tied, right?
and he got sacked.
No, but they were not losing.
They were tied.
That's
Yeah,
what
that's
I'm
what he's
saying.
saying.
So
in the
Joe,
fourth
so
quarter,
Joe
I think
Burrow,
he's saying,
so
not
Joe,
overtime,
so
right?
Joe Burrow had the chance to go down the field and win the game, and they went 3 and out, and they punted the ball. That's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
just adding context to
Yeah,
it.
yeah, for sure. I just think like with Allen, even against like my Eagles, it was 2023 Eagles Bills. If you look at that game, the Bills had the ball first time in overtime. They marched down the field. What happens? I don't know what happened with Josh Allen, Gabe Davis. The ball goes this way. Gabe Davis got a post route going that way. Hey, look, I don't know if that's on Gabe Davis or Josh Allen, but those little plays, do I think Jalen Hurts is making that? No, I don't.
Because who walked off?
Who walked it off? Jason Kelsey, great block. Hurts rushing for a touchdown. So, like, it's those little plays that Josh Allen got to overcome. I think he got a better argument than Lamar
Yeah,
for sure.
but I think that you have more room for error when you're having so many plays a game at that volume. Like Josh
That's fair.
Allen, the ball is in his hands. Same thing with Lamar Jackson in a playoff setting. Same thing with Mahomes. About 45 to 50 times they're touching the ball and they're either attempting it or they're part of the play.
I don't know. Josh against the Ravens was kind of in cruise control.
This year, Josh Allen was the most game manager he's been in his
Yes,
career.
for sure.
Because
playoffs,
they
yeah.
lost Stephon Diggs and they had to become more of a complete offense and they leaned into the run game. And
I'm not holding it against
No,
him.
I know,
I
but
will.
I'm saying for like if we just look at the attempts per game, passing wise, and the everything, the touches that these quarterbacks have had per game, Jalen Hurts might have maybe 15 to 20 less touches, which means there's less room for error on those. If you have more volume snaps, like if you take more shots, you're also likely to miss more shots.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think even with Josh Allen, Joe Brady has done a great job of taking the ball out of his hands a little bit. Not, all right, yeah, you're still Superman. You're still that guy.
James Cook led the league in touchdowns.
But yeah, but you ain't got to touch
Yeah.
the ball every single time. So, the difference from Ken Dorsey, who just wasn't utilizing James Cook in the right way. So, and we saw the difference with Ken Dorsey and Joe Brady. Now you see Josh Allen's turnovers go, to the single digits, and then he wins MVP. So, I think there's certain guys that, they don't get the same narrative of, we're taking the ball out of your hands a little bit. Even Jim Harbaugh, he could have got Malik Neighbors. He gets Joe Alt because he's focused on the run game. He takes the ball out of Justin Herbert's hands a little bit. And then now you're seeing him have minimal turnovers, and then up to him in the playoff game. But you saw that Jim Harbaugh formula, like it was all right. Let me just take the pressure off my quarterback, with nothing wrong. Our issue is with Jalen Hurts is like he's the only one that gets that narrative when every quarterback benefits from a great run game, a Jared Goff, a Justin Herbert, Josh Allen. So that's the only thing.
These quarterbacks are hoping to do the same thing one day, hopefully win the Super Bowl. We're going to rank the 6 sophomore quarterbacks based on who will have the best season. We can all give our list right away. Starting with you, MJ, who do you have 6-1?
Number 1,
6
JJ
to 1.
McCarthy.
Okay, he won number 1. It's okay. I'm not mad at it.
Number 1, JJ McCarthy.
Wow.
Okay.
Wait. 6-2-1.
Yes.
Shoot.
It's all right. It
Oh,
happens. It's all right.
Number 6.
Cut it.
Drake May.
Okay.
Number 6, Drake May. I feel like his offensive line, you got Will Campbell. I think he'll have a promising year. The offensive line in totality isn't very good. His wide receiver core isn't very good. I think a lot of people are hyping up the Patriots that they'll be this next up-and-coming team, and I'm not really buying it. So he's the guy that is in the worst situation and will finish worst out of all those quarterbacks.
Number 5-1 now.
5, Jaden Daniels. And
Okay.
I think Jaden Daniels. And he's in a situation where it's like, all right, you got Laramie Tunsil. I'll give you that. That's a great addition to the offensive line. Defensive, Defensive line, the whole defense in general, I think, is very overrated. You're looking at their schedule come next season. They're going to be facing a lot of top 10 defenses from last year. And all them close score games they were in, I don't know if they're going to go their way like they did last season. Terry's been out, haven't been getting them reps in training camp. And so I'm looking at the situations of all of these sophomore quarterbacks. I think Jalen Daniels is in for a sophomore slump.
And then 4-1 real quickly.
4, Caleb Williams. 3, Bo Nix. 2, is
Penix or Penix?
Penix. Michael Penix is number 2. And then number 1, JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, my 6-1 is, I think I wanted to do this based on statistics, not just raw eye test. So who's going to have the better in totality statistical combined with team success season?
That's fair.
And they're going to have a successful year.
There's an easy one.
Number 6 is Drake May.
Yep. Easy.
Number 5 is Michael Penix Jr.
I agree.
Number 4 is Caleb
Yes.
Williams.
Oh my God. Hold on. He's dropping a banger.
Number 3 is JJ McCarthy.
He's dropping an all-timer.
Number 1.
I know. I
Who
know.
is number
He's-
2?
I-
Who's number 2?
He knows who's won.
Wait,
He
who's number
knows
2 though?
who's won.
Number
No.
2. Sorry, I should have revealed number 2
No,
first.
no. You
Well,
could
you
be cool
reveal
as
number
fuck
2, you
right
reveal
now.
number 1, you know?
Exactly. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna say it before. I'm gonna say it before. I know him. He's gonna be consistent right now.
Yeah.
I know who number 1 is gonna be. Go ahead.
Number 1. So that means by default, this player's number 2. Is both freaking Knicks.
I like that.
I think he's number 1.
I knew it.
And I think Jaden's number 2.
100%.
Because
His
I think
offensive line, yeah.
the Commanders, I think, can have a slump. They go from 12 wins
Can you believe
this year to this upcoming year. I got the Commanders at 9 wins.
Yo, I love Joel. Oh my!
So is he like
God.
a big like Broncos like?
I'm a
Bo
big.
Nix hater?
I've called Bo Nix superstar before
He's
the
gone
draft.
back and forth about Bo Nix.
Bro,
more than
I
you
said
can
he's going to be a
imagine.
Do
superstar
you
in
want
Sean
to know
Payne's system.
why I love him? I knew how that list was going to shake out the minute he said statistics, not raw eye test. I knew it. Why? Because the Broncos are going to be in a good system. You mentioned it. Terry McLaurin's not here. He was throwing to Diami Brown last season. He made him look good. Even Diami's gone. His situation's really bad considering, and it was bad last season.
Yeah.
And that was with Terry putting like the ultimate Band-Aid on a bad situation. And Jaden, of course, for his dual threat ability. Jaden was all-time great. He was amazing. Number 5's insane. It's insane, MJ. I'll put it aside. I'll finish on this.
Yeah.
Bo Nix is number 1. And he's spot on. Because the Broncos of these teams are going to have the most success. Drake May, the Patriots, are going to be the worst. I agree. Penix, I'm fine with 5 because I had the exact same list for the fact that I think the Bears will be slightly better than them. I think their offense, in theory, should be better. It's my concerns with the accuracy with Caleb, the pocket presence with Caleb. That concerns me. But I think with Ben Johnson, I think that he'll overcome that. I think number 3 is JJ because I believe in the Vikings. I believe in JJ. That system's incredible. Jaden Daniels is Jaden Daniels, but statistically, who was right there with him last season? It was Bo Nix, and our situation, albeit slightly, got better. Evan Ingram, considering what we had, is a ginormous upgrade. J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey, considering what we had, is a gigantic upgrade. We have the best offensive play caller, arguably, in the league in Sean Payton. Outside of Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid still has to be number 1 because he's Andy Reid, but he's not even calling plays.
And also, Sean Payne hasn't had Mahomes, so you don't know. Maybe if he had Mahomes. he'd
In
have
year
better.
1 with Bo Nix had the second most touchdown by a rookie ever. This is why I love him, because this man does not care about morals. He does not care about morals, and all he cares about is getting an agenda off.
You know him. He's got no agenda. It's just tape. It's just film.
You're either a believer or you're not.
And here's why I don't give a fuck
bold
about that
lever?
statement.
Is that a thing?
You do not
Bold
go
levers?
from I love what the Broncos did on draft night too.
Yeah.
He's not a starter. He's not a quarterback meant for the
Oh,
NFL.
yeah, I did see that.
You don't go from that
Not being
to
a starter,
you're
yeah.
going to have a better statistical season. I'm choosing my words very carefully because that's his words. Than a quarterback that just had probably the best rookie season we've ever seen. You don't go from that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. There's no way, right? Like
He's in
ethically,
a better situation. He's in a better situation because of that offensive line.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like
100%.
at minimum top 5. You can really make
It's
top
you
3.
guys. It's you guys and us. Offensive line.
It's up there. He don't got the weapons outside of Sutton like that.
And he
but
is.
So
Yeah,
I'm looking at
he's
these. I'm looking at this chart. So Bo Nix last year was 17th in EPA per play against zone coverage, which is about average.
He's a rookie.
Against man coverage, he was 29th in EPA per play. But you'll see a trend with quarterbacks that don't have high level receiving
It
talent.
makes sense.
Against man coverage, they'll be towards like the bottom of the league because like you look at I'm looking at other players around this mark. Because
I
when I
would
look
rather
at
the Ravens wide receiver room than the Broncos. I just want to say that.
because you look at Jordan Love, he was
Close. Yeah.
Jordan Love,
close.
I think, is the best example of this in terms of like he is a good processor of defenses. He just doesn't have the receiving talent to capitalize on
I
it
agree.
because against zone coverage, he was 5th in EPA per play, but against man coverage, he was 35th in EPA per play.
okay.
So that's basically like when the defense are sitting in zones and you can pick apart the defense, Jordan Love is going to the right place with the football. Same thing with man coverage. He just doesn't have the receivers to capitalize on those moments. And that's why I think that dragged down for Bo Nix. And he didn't get a massive upgrade in weapons, but I think Evan Ingram is an upgrade more so than last year. So I think that number should be better against man coverage this year.
And we were one of the worst rush offenses in football last year. You had
Yeah.
you had the Dolphins and us as two of the worst rush offenses in football, but yet we still had positive offensive play because of the quarterback.
I mean, if it wasn't for like Jane Daniels like all-time season, you talking about Bo Nix, like,
100%.
up there. I think
100%.
the only thing with them is their division because Chiefs, you know what they're going to be. Raiders going to be much improved.
I agree.
And the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, you can't count them out. So his
Michigan
only
legend.
thing is going to be the division he's in, which is probably harder. No, it's going. And the AFC West is the hardest division in the.
Because if I do it
in
off the top of my head, I think Drake May, Patriots finish at best second in the AFC West.
Wow.
In the AFC East, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
At best, second in the AFC East.
5
Michael
wins.
Penix Jr., the Atlanta Falcons, at best, I think finish second in the NFC South. I think
Ooh.
the Buccaneers will be
At
better.
best?
I think they could.
I think they can finish first.
There's
There's a
if
world.
there's a team, they can do it.
There's
that
a
division's
world.
terrible.
There's a world, but you know the Buccaneers I think are a better team. That's why I
agree.
still have the number one.
I agree.
For sure.
Then I look at JJ McCarthy. I think the Vikings are either finishing second or third in the NFC North. I think the Lions are still the most talented team in that division, but I also can't count out the Green Bay Packers because I think they have the best quarterback in that division. So that's would be my take for the Vikings. I think the Bears, they'll finish fourth in the NFC North.
I'm fine with that.
I think JJ McCarthy. Well, I said JJ McCarthy already. I think
Caleb.
Williams fourth in the NFC North. Then I look at Bo Nix second in the AFC West, but that's because you have the Chiefs there. I think the Chiefs, as long as they're the Chiefs and they're still talented, they're gonna be number one in that division.
We can't do it.
There's a chance. There's a slight
world.
chance.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no world. There's a world.
Yeah,
You
there's
have
a-
much
there's
better
a
chance
chance.
than the Patriots.
Our defense is going to be better than last year. Our offense, in theory, should be better than last year.
Mhm.
Why not?
And then Jaden Daniels, I think second in the NFC East. I don't think they're gonna be better than the Eagles. So I think the Broncos have a chance to win the most games out of all these teams, and I think Bo Nix will be a good part of it.
I'm chatting for saying that the floor for the Commanders is the 4th seed in their division.
The floor
Oh,
third.
Nah.
third. They're not gonna be worse than the
Yeah,
Giants.
no.
No
It's
way.
because the Giants' schedule, I agree.
Giants schedule, yeah.
But talent for talent, it's nuts.
I
It's
hear what you're
nuts.
saying because
Nice.
defensively the Giants
It's a
defense
gap.
is much better.
It's a
but
gap.
I guess it depends how much you believe in Jackson Dart / Russell Wilson.
Well, Russ is gonna have a good year.
If Russ is the 20th best quarterback in
no,
football, if 20th, he can't be 20th.
He could be way better than Daniel Jones. Let's be honest.
I think he'd be the 20th best.
I don't hate it.
quarterback.
I don't hate it.
be-
He
Russell.
could be better than Aaron Rodgers.
That's what, if he's 20th
better than Aaron Rodgers.
and the
probably.
defense can be, what's the ceiling?
The defense.
Their defense. I'm nuts for saying ceiling's top 5, 7.
Yeah,
7.
It's just 'cause
Secondary
I think they're
still
going
has
to
a
still
chance
be
to be
out
mid.
there for a while.
But all right,
they're just not
fine.
going to be winning a lot of games,
Agreed. But there's talent on the offense. So long as Andrew Thomas is healthy, the offensive line's good.
Big question.
100%.
I can't say.
What's your ranking 6-1?
I'm curious.
My ranking's the most different
He
than
has
you
Drake in
guys.
top 3 for sure.
I don't.
I'm floored.
I have Penix number 6.
Okay.
Again, mine's a combination of everything. It's winning. It's statistically. It's also how you look.
Who do you have a crush on?
Who you have a crush on, maybe. But no, I do have Drake May at 5. I think.
wow.
I think New England's going to be better. I do think a lot of people are getting pretty crazy with New England and Drake May.
Well, they're going to finish second in the AFC East.
I think there's a world, unless it's the Jets.
That's bad.
But Drake May, like you were talking about it earlier, the offensive line is still a question. The receivers are still a question. I love Trayvon Henderson, but Ramondre Stevenson is in the way, so he's going to be on the field some. Maybe as the year goes on, Henderson really becomes a workhorse because he's going to be their best offensive weapon, but we're asking a lot out of Drake May to be in like the top 3 with some of these names. At 4, I have JJ McCarthy. I wish the drumbeat was a little bit more positive for him in training camp.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this, but everyone from coaching staff to players are very cautious. It's going to take time. The preseason game, though, he was fine. Didn't look out of place by any means. I do wish there was more, and maybe this is stupid because it doesn't really matter, just more positive energy from it. Like, I wish I got more quotes like, damn, JJ McCarthy has been killing this training camp. It has been a bit more subdued. With that being said, the situation's great that they're going to win a lot of games, and I do think he's going to put up good numbers to be over Penix and Drake. 3, I have Caleb Williams. I do believe the Bears are going to look a lot better than last year, but like we were all talking about, it's the division. He probably will be 4th. 2nd, I have Bo Nix. 1, I have Jaden Daniels. I do think if you want to say statistically, again, more wins, I think the Broncos are right there, but I think Jaden is like a top 10 quarterback stamped. If he does what he did last year, again, I wouldn't be surprised. I just think the talent right now is a bit higher in a different tier than the rest of these guys.
I don't think it's locked and loaded that JJ McCarthy's better than Sam Darnold was this past season.
I think, look, Sam Darnold, like, the
because it's being talked
expectation
about
he has on for JJ McCarthy, like, it's definitely like it's like a lot like for JJ to like match.
It's being talked about like as if JJ McCarthy's just flat out better than Sam.
Is it being talked like
I
that?
feel like the thing is he probably won't be.
Who's being
statistically?
I just
haven't
feel like
heard that
when you
personally.
think about the Vikings and you think about them moving on from Sam Darnold and keeping JJ McCarthy, you think of this in theory is the better quarterback option moving forward.
I think it's the better quarterback option because it costs less. And you use
there's
a
potential
10th
there.
pick overall.
He's
on
younger.
him. He's 22, no, 23.
Something like that.
He's young as sin, and you have O'Connell, Jet, Jordan. You have money to play with because you have a rookie deal on a quarterback. That's why it's the better quarterback option. Is he the better quarterback? That's yet to be found.
Yeah, but I think people are acting as if the Viking situation with Sam and what he did and his
You're showing love
moments
to Sam, and I appreciate it.
I think it was more so due to like, oh, Sam Darnold just had that season because he was just with them and stuff like that. So JJ McCarthy can come in here, he's gonna play really well. He's gonna play great.
But
I think that's fair.
Out of like all of those rookie quarterbacks, like the reason why I had JJ 1 is because out of all of the rookie quarterbacks, nobody has Jettis.
Talk.
The wide receiver deal with Addison, Brian Flores right there, a much improved offensive line, with a top 3 play caller in the NFC and Kevin O'Connell.
Didn't even talk about Hawkinson, who's a great safety blanket
as well, who was injured a little bit. You're coming off injury. Now he's fully healthy.
They have a better infrastructure around him. They have a better offensive line, run game this year than they had last year.
So I just feel like if JJ is just decent, they should win 11 games. Like, if he's just decent, if he's good, 12.
I'm with you. Yeah.
I'm not saying 14, but like
if he's very good, they're winning the division.
If he's good off rip, they win the division.
That's
like I feel confident.
That's what
in
I think.
that.
Yeah, I think they win the
If
division.
he's good, not Sam Darnold good, but like
if he has the bow next year, they can win the division.
For sure,
for sure. And that's not even saying anything.
That's a good year.
It's not a knock.
I mean, that's not obviously. That's
29 touchdowns is a great year.
Yeah. You have 29 touchdowns. That's a lot of points you're putting up on the board.
It's a fact.
It is.
They got a good running back duo too.
How many did Darnold throw last year? 36?
35.
He had an amazing season, man. Just no way around it. Darnold was amazing until you needed him.
It's crazy how the narratives changed.
People had
Up
Darnold
until that
over
Lions
Hurts.
game.
They had
if he wins
Darnold
that
over
game, they
Hurts.
would-
High key.
Oh my god.
We were talking
God.
about it like Darnold could sign for 50 M's a year. If
That's
he-
on God though.
We were
Yeah.
saying like he could push 50
Bro,
if he
he
wins these
lost.
games and you're good in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like
If he
holy
was
shit.
not the worst I've ever seen in a
Yeah.
big moment,
Yeah.
He still got
I
30
still
something.
think we're talking about a guy that gets 40, 45.
Yeah.
He was the worst I've ever seen.
They would have re-signed him. Yeah.
They would have at least for a 1 year,
At least
2 year
2 years.
deal.
See, he got what 3 years or 2? No, he got
It would
2
have made
years
the
with
decision
Seattle.
harder to let
You're
him
funny,
go.
bro. You're funny.
For
You
what?
dropped that kind of moment on a quick segment. You're hilarious.
Which one?
You know which one.
I have no idea.
Bo Nix over
I have
Jaden
no
Daniels.
idea.
Interesting.
Well, I don't think you're saying Jane Daniels
no,
or Bo's
no,
better
no.
quarterback.
What he
right?
just
Or did
said
he?
was Bo Nix will have the better season.
Okay, so
That's what he said. Whether he wants to say that or not,
doesn't necessarily mean better quarterback.
exactly. But who will have the better season? Which then I'm in my own right to say.
He covers himself though. Yeah.
You could turn into whatever you want.
We will.
Which is why
We will.
Which is why he's disgusting.
Yeah, I respect. I mean, I'm not
I don't
surprised.
respect it.
No?
I don't. I love him
Yeah.
because he's one of one.
The fact that he could just sneak, but you're right. The fact that he could just sneak it in this segment, so like Bo Nix goes out there and balls like.
Because here's the thing.
I told you he's my
And
number one quarterback.
Here's the
of the
thing.
year.
Here's the thing. I won't allow it. I don't care that he said it personally because I remember everything that was said. Same way that he's kind of coming into his own with Tua. Well,
Is he?
hey,
Wait, I feel like I
very,
missed
very
that.
quietly, very discreetly. I've heard it.
I missed that.
He still disagree. He still doesn't love him in big moments. That's fine.
When-
but I
what'd he
think
say?
as a good quarterback in this league, he respects him.
What do you say?
That he's still one of the best, accurate, most efficient quarterbacks in the league.
Okay, I think that's fair. He is
1,000%.
He's good. Good player.
That's a lot more than we would have got at him a couple of years ago.
I mean, yeah, Tua's put some tape on the board.
Some new.
He's just not good when it matters.
Also fair.
There's one time we've seen that.
Wait, so back to the rookies, like, Michael Penix, he's a lot like Tua in certain aspects, but like, I was higher than Penix than y'all were.
Yeah,
Because I think,
it's more so just the
Worst
other quarterbacks
division.
rather than Penix himself.
okay, because I think Bijan's going to have a phenomenal year. Hey, it's great odds from doing offensive player of the year, I'm just saying.
He's
But
gonna- yeah.
you got Drake London out there. Great connection I've been hearing during training camp, as well as Kyle Pitts. I'm not having him in fantasy. Maybe y'all would. I ain't doing that. But I do think he's in a great situation.
Maybe
Raheem Mostert, second
Yeah, I
year?
mean, with Penix, I think if you're ranking these quarterbacks just based on talent and who's
Raheem
the
Morris.
best,
And
I
that's
think-
why you are the most consistent man on the internet. It's ridiculous. To take situation to weigh this heavily into your rankings, it's impressive.
Yeah, like,
Because indirectly, he does it with everything.
like, come on, like,
You're
come on, stats and winning. JJ and Penix, like, they got
Yeah,
this.
they got it.
and
They
I think
got it around
I think
them.
Penix has the
just
ability
not
to do
OC,
it.
even though
It's just the
Yeah.
defense. I just think the pass rushing
Yeah, the pass.
ability of the defense is going to be put to test.
They need James Pierce.
That's
Jr.
my
to
thing.
be
I just think the
him.
Bucks overall are a better team. Like if I was just ranking these quarterbacks based on who the best is, I think the top three for me is Jaden, Caleb, Drake, May. I think those are the three for me. I think number 4, there's something I'm really enamored with when it comes to JJ McCarthy and just his upside, but a lot of quarterbacks that don't have a high volume.
This
of
was
a
like within
pass
10
attempt.
minutes.
This is what he's
Within
going to
10
do? No, I need to check
Yeah,
myself into a
but this-
psych ward.
This thing is like JJ McCarthy, if you look at quarterbacks and their volume of pass attempts in college,
Hasn't played a single snap.
that
No,
is
not a single
that is
NFL
a
snap.
that is a
Better not yet,
reflection
yeah.
usually of quarterbacks that aren't ready for the NFL because Bo Nix had a lot of college snaps. Michael Penix had a lot of college snaps. JJ McCarthy and his volume, especially per season, he's only
Yeah.
attempting maybe 250 passes
Very
at most
limited,
a year.
yeah.
And you look
JJ's a
at
dog.
the history of quarterbacks that do that, they usually don't translate in the NFL. But
You
I
need
think
reps.
McCarthy is in such a good situation where he's like an outlier of it. I think between Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix, I have the toughest time differentiating the two on who I think is going to be better long term.
To me, Penix just feels very safe. Like I feel comfortable with his floor. He showed us last year that he could process quick. He has a strong arm. I just don't see the ceiling with Penix as much as the other guys.
How about the ceiling of, the floor of Bo Nix?
Well, I'm not.
You know what
I'm
I
not
mean?
saying nothing about that.
Oh, no,
Bo Nix gives you more 'cause
apologize.
he's
I
a-
thought you were comparing the two in terms
Oh,
of their
no.
floor.
I was just saying in
Because
terms
Bo
of these
I think
quarterbacks.
Bo just showed you the floor.
Mhm.
Like that's the floor. Rookie season, terrible situation outside of offensive line. And again, I have to throw in Sean Payton.
And play
because
caller.
He's Sean Payton. It matters. But you have an offensive line that's amazing, but around him is mediocre, and I'm being kind.
It's just a play calling helps a lot when you can get players.
I think that the two biggest things are offensive line play.
But our
call for
hands
young
are terrible. Like
quarterbacks.
Jesus Christ, 5 drops in the divisional wild card killed me.
Yeah.
So that's where I have a hard time because I like Penix. I think he throws a really good ball. I think the accuracy with him can be a little bit spotty and up and down. And I think with Bo Nix, his biggest problem is that when he starts to move, his arm loses a lot of velocity and it loses a lot of accuracy. And I've seen it in the preseason reps still with the first game that Bo Nix in a clean pocket, when he drops back, he'll start to move his feet prematurely already and he'll start to jump throw passes. And I feel like Bo Nix, he plays with, like when I watch him, I get some anxiety watching him because he's always kind of jittery and doing something.
You know who does
Which,
that?
who?
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I know.
Baker Mayfield. And he was just top 5 in yards and touchdowns.
Yeah, but I think the thing with Bo Nix is that and I don't really think Baker Mayfield has really good pocket presence, though.
He doesn't.
So I think
Bo
Bo
Nix
Nix
kind of does.
It's just the pocket presence with him and the ability to kind of sense pressure and not immediately be erratic when it comes to it. I don't know if you ever played Madden, but when you're building your quarterback in Madden and they have this setting when it's like when you sense pressure, what do you become? Oblivious, calm, composed. Like Bo Nix's setting is probably the worst there. I think when he feels it, when he feels it,
he just said that
really
Bo Nix
starts
was
to
going to have the
escape.
best statistical season of all
While
these
also
quarterbacks
being maybe the
by
worst
also
quarterback.
proceeding to say he's the worst of the bunch.
Because I do think at a minimum you have to have him over, I think, JJ and Penix.
Yeah, I mean, I think JJ
Also,
has improved
Drake
nothing yet.
May, who
Drake May physically, I see it because physical tools. I think he's
I would make
overqualified.
Drake may be in better long term.
The saving grace is that he did not turn over the ball.
He
I'll
just took
give
a
it
shit.
to him.
But also Shane Waldron.
He's like the
Pocket
most
presence.
sacked
His pocket presence was,
QB.
you want to talk about pocket presence that sucks?
Yeah, but offensive line Shane Waldron. I'm not throwing it out, but I'm throwing it out.
The thing with Caleb is I don't think that his pocket presence, when he sensed pressure, he was oblivious to it or he
just
started
held
getting
the ball.
erratic. He just held on to the ball exactly. He didn't throw it away.
Bo Nix
That's
will
what I-
throw it away.
Yeah.
Or try and throw it to a receiver and make a positive play.
But
out of
Caleb's
it.
another guy that I wish there was more positivity coming out of training camp. Because
I know it's been a lot. Ben Johnson is. I hope that was a fake quote, and I'm getting sent help. Talking about the completion percentage in practice.
about-
Yeah, they
That's
have
real?
a market for it. They have a market for
That
it.
he's at 55.
Something like
Why
that.
are you releasing that?
Yeah.
I mean, he has to get
If
better.
I told you Jalen Hurts was throwing 55% in training camp, would
Yeah.
you be happy?
Well, he
I
also
would-
said that's why they didn't play week 1. He said we're not ready. He said the offense is not good enough.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yo, that's
They're playing.
embarrassing.
He plays tomorrow, 8:00.
I'm
Caleb,
gonna watch.
But like
locked
in terms of pressure for quarterbacks, like Caleb is up there with.
Yo,
all
you're
of them.
right, actually.
With all of them, because the guy that everybody in Chicago wanted, their savior, Ben Johnson. You got him. Offensive line, got the guy Drew from the Falcons. Got Joe Thuney. Like, you got a revamped offensive line. Got weapons everywhere. Colston Love. You got
Roma
you got
Dunze.
DJ.
yeah, bro. You got DJ Moore. You got a bunch of guys. Like, and the defense is gonna be nice. Defense has a high floor. Like, you should be competing for second or first in the division. Really second, but
and this list was based off success and what you do individually. I mean, 2010 Mark Sanchez had a better season than 2010 Matthew Stafford. Didn't mean that Mark Sanchez is better than Stafford. It's just Stafford was in a worse situation. I think some of these quarterbacks
Seems a
are
little
in bad
extreme.
situations.
Seems a little extreme. Just a little bit extreme.
I'm gonna crash
Just a
out.
little bit extreme.
I'm gonna crash out.
If you would have just stopped at, if you just would have stopped after the first 3 quarterbacks, it would have been fine. But compare with the Penix and JJ shit, it's.
I was gonna let it go.
Yeah.
I was fine with Caleb. I was fine with Drake. I was fine with Jaden. I'm fine with it. They were the 1, 2, and 3 picks.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it should be for a reason. Bo Nix outperformed 2 of those guys. Went to the playoffs. He didn't outperform Jaden. I'm not gonna say that.
No.
But
Jaden was elite.
I'm still gonna respect the 1, 2, and 3. You throw in a guy that hasn't played a single snap of real regular season football, I start to have an aneurysm. You throw in a guy that played 3
You
games.
should love Jaden. He was elite in the playoffs.
I
He was
love-
fucking elite.
it's more so people get another year to study what Cliff
sure.
Kingsbury is doing.
Yeah.
That defense is going to take a step back. And I
It's a
think the
team
offense is going to
taking a step back. They had magical moments.
Like-
But I'm just saying, as a quarterback, he has the
no,
playoff
as
moments.
as a quarterback,
as a
I
rookie.
mean, I fear Jay and Daniels more than I fear Dak Prescott. And after
yeah,
that
sure.
duel JD against Joe Burrow, I was like, okay, yeah, he's
that
the
was
one.
that was when
He's
he
the one.
really
That was coming
put
out
his
party.
moment on.
Like the thing is,
That just
with,
gave me goosebumps. That was
That
an
game was-
elite
that was
game, bro.
crazy.
That
That
game
was
was
crazy.
good.
all these quarterbacks outside of Jaden have a major weakness. Jaden is the only quarterback that his biggest weakness is that he doesn't have elite and arm talent like Allen or Lamar.
Can I also say a weakness? He needs to slide.
He does need to.
He needs to slide.
Well, maybe yeah, taking hits, but like in terms of accuracy, he was the most accurate quarterback in the NFL this past season.
He's near perfect.
He's awesome.
He's amazing.
He's so
it's
awesome.
just Caleb Williams' accuracy. That's the number one thing with him. It's his accuracy. I think everything else he's pretty much fine in, even the pocket presence stuff. I think the pocket presence stuff was due to the OC not having a plan with him, and they just had no idea how to handle pressures at all. That's where I think I'm not that worried about it, but I'm worried about the accuracy. That's number one. With JJ McCarthy, it's just, can he play in an offense where he's asked to do more than he was in Michigan? He was a play action quarterback, game managing. So now in the NFL, it's like, can you be more than a game manager? Because if you're selected with that high of a pick, you have to be more of a game manager. And I think even Sam Darnold, who can manage a game in moments, can be more than a game manager. So now JJ McCarthy's bar is kind of, you have to be better than Sam. But I can't really break out a major weakness for him right now because he hasn't played NFL football. With Michael Penix, I think it's accuracy and I think his playmaking ability. I don't think that Michael Penix moves out of the pocket at all, even though he can, which is why I have optimism he can get to that. Bo Nix, I mentioned what it is already. And then with Drake May, I think it's accuracy, and I think sometimes he has too much confidence in his arm.
Yeah, turnovers.
Where he tries to fit balls where I don't think he should be attempting that. So I think those are the major weaknesses with all those quarterbacks, and things can fluctuate.
You know what's amazing? A weakness of Bo Nix was his arm.
Yeah.
I think his weakness coming out is just taking shots downfield because he was so limited.
Because he had the best throw of the season.
Well, his weakness coming out was
that is the
He
best.
played like an NFL
It's
throw.
Out of
literally,
scheme.
you know, there's two throws. I'm not even joking. There's two throws. It's that one, and it's Mahomes' throw to Xavier Worthy in garbage time. Those are the two best throws of the season.
That was the best
was
Mahomes throw in
crazy.
years.
I wish you were lying. That throw was unfucking real.
Have you seen, just getting back to Jane for a second, Ricky, the dog on Twitter, who has some sources, because he's right more often than not,
About
has
Micah?
said that, has said that Terry McLaurin is going to come to an agreement soon, $30 million a year. We saw Terry also getting taken off the PUP list recently, and Dan Quinn said it doesn't mean anything, but I feel like Terry's going to get signed sooner than later. And Terry, I know Ayuk kind of had a similar situation last year where the contract bled into the training camp and then he didn't look right and then he gets hurt. I feel like Terry's such a pro. Like, he's been at this for years. I think he's gonna come back in, and I don't think there's gonna be much of a fall
It sucks that he's 30, bro.
Yeah,
It sucks that he's 30.
he's 30, but he did just have his best season.
No, I say it sucks that he's 30 because he's due his money.
I feel you.
He's due his
He
bread.
should get paid, and he deserves it. He's been with that organization through the worst. So you had JJ at 1. So if you rank these quarterbacks just based on how good they are,
If it's
like
if it's
long
on,
term,
like, is how good they are, like,
Yeah.
because I rank JJ 1 just because I feel like he has to be just flat out ass if the Vikings are just terrible. Like he's put in such a great situation that he's got to win. But in terms of like just raw talent, like who's better, I would have Drake May better. I think Caleb Williams is better. Jane Daniels, Bo Nix, and then Michael. I'd even say Michael Penix. Like I feel like all those guys is arm talent. What they've been able to do as a playmaker, I'd have all those guys.
So you think
but
JJ is the worst of the bunch?
I think he's the worst out of them, but he's in the by far best
situation.
best
That's
situation.
easy, though. That's a fact.
And then like Caleb,
so this is also like projecting him to be the worst out of all of them, right?
yeah,
Because it's like
Like you.
we haven't seen JJ play yet, but the difference is that he's betting on him not being so good. Where I think JJ's gonna be.
I'm talking
good.
about Bo Nix.
Bo Nix.
I
think
said
it's
like
crazy.
you, how he just did with JJ,
Yeah.
you just did with Bo.
No, exactly. It's basically a flipperoo. Like
Flipperoo.
it's
Like
it's just.
So
a
I'm
team
just calling it
situation.
out.
You're
Like,
trying
he
to
called
call
you
out.
I'm gonna call him out.
No, I'm not calling out nothing because I think
call it out.
the way we did the list is we did the list based on the criteria of the success and individual play.
That's what the question was.
And
Exactly.
combining both, yeah.
But if we're just doing it by talent, I gave you my list of talent. I don't think it's
what's
crazy
yours
to have
based on
Bo Nix
talent?
where he was.
No, I mean,
Based
you
on
had a
talent,
guy who did
I
not
would have
play.
I would have 6 JJ, 5 Penix, 3 4 Bo Nix, 3 Drake May, 2 Jane Daniels, 1 Caleb Williams. The thing with Caleb Williams is like and he was doing this in DC. Like, he's so gifted athletically
Mm-hmm.
that he could just, like, it was like he's playing against JV teams. Like,
He is.
it was in college. So then you get to the NFL, all these guys run 4-3, 4-4. They're athletic as you. And you actually have to make these routine, short, intermediate throws. He's trying to go for the whole hero ball stuff. That's why he's holding the ball for so long a lot of times, because he's trying to go for that big play.
Yeah.
What Ben Johnson's trying to do is say, all right,
It'll come.
yes, it's
Mhm.
going to come, but I need you to be more Jared Goff.
Methodical.
Just
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
It's a guy in the flat right there. Go check right there. Don't go for
Get
the
6
yeah,
yards.
Get 6
second
yards.
and 4. Now we can do
That's
something.
Tom
Exactly.
Brady. Tom Brady made
Oh
a
my God,
living out of
yeah.
that post 38 years old.
Exactly. So that's the one thing. But he's, I mean, if someone wants to say Jaden just because of the rushing ability, I'm with that too. But Caleb, Jaden, they're rightfully.
What's your
top
ranking?
two.
I think that's for I'd have Jaden 1. Caleb and Drake is close at 2. I think I would still have Caleb 2, Drake 3, Nix 4, and then JJ Penix.
And you have the same list, or you have Bo Nix over Drake?
Just slide Caleb and Drake down, put Bo 2, Jaden 1.
Yeah, because I just think between Penix and JJ,
I would lean JJ over Penix personally.
Me too.
yeah, between JJ and Penix, for me, my ranking is basically how I view them as prospects outside of the top.
But
10.
as of right now, it has to be Penix over JJ because JJ's not played.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's fair.
for me, it's just my evaluation of them as prospects. I just feel like JJ prospect wise, I would
Penix was
put
a
him
good
over.
prospect.
Oh, he was, but I would put him over Penix, and I would put him over Nix if I did a redraft just off their prospect.
They're both
profiles.
similar, in my opinion, though, in terms of traits. I think that both have cannon for arms. I think by a ball hair, Penix might have a stronger arm. I mean, the zip on that dude's pass
Is
is
this him and JJ?
ridiculous. Between him and JJ. JJ has a rocket. Don't get me wrong. He's got a cannon.
He could do more athletically.
You're saying JJ or
Yeah,
Penix?
JJ.
Interesting.
I think Penix is kind of a statue. He's not. Some of it I think it's to do with the injuries too. where
Yeah,
it's
the double
multiple
ACL,
I don't know if I
yeah.
really want him doing it,
But he really doesn't
JJ
move
gives
out
you
the pocket at all.
JJ gives you more
Yeah.
rushing upside. He
Yeah.
could extend plays.
Like I think there was a stat that the Falcons offense
He's
was
just big and strong, honestly.
the Falcons offense was 95% exclusive shotgun offense.
Yeah.
It was shotgun snaps.
Yeah.
So all he's doing is standing in the pocket, he's letting it go, but it's not much rollout or movements within the offense.
But that's shown to have success if you are a great pocket passer or have great pocket presence, i.e. Joe Burrow. Not everybody's Joe Burrow. Tua Tagovailoa. There's successful, efficient offenses that exist if you are a pocket passer. I'd also throw Jordan Love in that. Jordan Love has elite pocket presence, and yet he has the ability to scramble out and still extend plays, but his pocket presence and his ability to stay within the pocket and make passes, they lead to efficient offenses.
Yeah. So that's how I think I would rank it, though. I think all these quarterbacks have potential.
You're a funny guy.
What's funny about me?
A lot.
You know what's funny?
What's funny? All right. So now let's go on to the last two things of the show. Most surprising and most disappointing teams this upcoming season. Surprising, I have the Seattle Seahawks. I looked at their Vegas odds and lines, and they're plus 125 to win 9 games this year. I think that feels like a very safe floor for them. I think they should win at least 8 games this year, and I think they'll win 9 or 10. The defense is the best unit in the division by far. I think they have an elite level defense. And then I look at Sam Darnold, and the gap between him and Purdy and Kyler isn't that large. I think Stafford at his best is the best quarterback in that division. And if this offense can be real, then I think it helps them a lot. Like, I know the downgrade from Geno to Sam Darnold is a downgrade, but I think the upgrade from Ryan Grubb to Clint Kubiak is even bigger. I think that Clint Kubiak brings in a real offensive system. It's not a college offense, and he has an NFL family background. I just think that his teams have collapsed down the stretch of the year with injury, but when he has players that are healthy, they're able to play at a high level, and they're blocking well in the preseason right now. I think Gray Zabel is a lock to be a good player, and I see 3 players on the Seahawks offensive line that are good. It's Abraham Lucas, Charles Cross, and Gray Zabel. I think it's going to be fantastic. It's really about Oluwatimi, the center, and Anthony Bradford at right guard, who Bradford is better run blocker than pass blocker. But if they're in heavier personnel and sets, I think that they'll benefit from that. And if Sam Darnold can just manage the game and let the defense win, I think they'll have a very successful season. I think that's his next evolution as a quarterback. He was able to go above and beyond in Minnesota and make big time throws. In Seattle, it's going to be more so about, can you take care of the football? And I think that's the next step for him to become a better quarterback. And then disappointment, I just have the Commanders. 12-5 last season. I think they're more of a 9-win team.
What a season.
8-4 and 1-score games. And I think the combination of them making the NFC Championship game and Jaden Daniels having the rookie season he had has brought a lot of hype to the team. But this was a team that, although they blew the brakes off the Detroit Lions, this was a team that was in a close game again against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, you know, the Buccaneers win that game in a close one. We're not talking about them the same way as if they just went to the NFC Championship, because now the expectation is Jaden Daniels not only replicate his rookie season, but become a legit MVP candidate. And then the Commanders be a team that is one of the very best in the NFC East. And to me, I just don't think the defensive talent, specifically on their defensive line, reflects that. I think their defensive line is still not good, and they can't consistently get pressure after the quarterback. And I look at a team like the Dallas Cowboys, who coaching is the question, but in terms of sheer talent, I think they're just as talented as a team like Washington. So for me, I have them as a disappointing team, and I don't think they're going to replicate the season they had last year.
Yeah, listen, Joe, I can hear where you're coming from. I respect the Commanders, even though 12-5, given the team that they had, seemed a little bit shocking. You got to give them credit.
Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love.
Jordan Love.
Jaden Daniels by country mile.
Jaden
That
Daniels.
being said,
Easily.
it's not even close.
So easily.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
My most surprising team, I mentioned the Giants earlier, but I also will mention the Miami Dolphins. This defense last year without Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips was a top 10 unit. Dels, you keep talking about the secondary, and it's fair. It's right. Whole new personnel. I think that there's some backups on the Broncos that would start immediately for the Miami Dolphins. But this was a team that was banged up on the defensive side of the ball and still was really great. Offensively, Tua in and out of the lineup. Jalen Waddle, not 100% himself. You do lose Jonnu Smith, don't get me wrong. That is an absolute bummer. But with the defense being as great as it is, or will be as good as it is, especially getting after the quarterback, and as long as Tua is healthy, this is a team that can make the playoffs. And as for the other team, the Giants, I think this defense is going to be a top 10 unit. I do think that Russell Wilson has a good season this year. A good season as in he's in that range from 18 to 20. Like there's a lot of quarterback talent in this league, and that's not a knock. But I think with Brian Daboll as his head coach, I think that with Andrew Thomas, God willing, stays healthy on and is on that football field, we're talking about a good offensive line. He's that much of a game changer. With Malik Neighbors, who's already entering top 10 conversations, Wan'Dale Robinson, I'm not the hugest fan of Darius Slayton. He can't catch a cold. But with Malik Neighbors, at least there's going to be so much attention on them that you know that they're going to have their opportunity. I think the Giants can be a sneaky team. And for disappointment, I find myself going to the Chargers. I just can't see a team with now Rashawn Slater hitting the IR, devastating, genuinely one of the best talents at the position. It sucks to see him go down. But this offensive line was being held together by him and Joe Alt. A great duo at the tackle position, but on the interior, not good. So now you lose one of the best in the game. It's Joel who's going to move to the left tackle, I can only assume. And now a rest of a bunch of guys that are below average to average at best. That offensive line is going to be tricky. What's to make of the run game in terms of Omarion Hampton now behind this offensive line, who obviously was drafted in the first round. Najee Harris, who we've known to be inconsistent as a rusher, dealing with an eye injury, who seems to be back at camp. That's good to see. But then the defensive side of the ball, is that sustainable? Is Khalil Mack getting older? Is he going to be the same player? That's something you could probably hope to rely on because he's a probably soon to be Hall of Famer. But I don't know how I can overly trust that offensive personnel, given the injury to Rashawn Slater, given the inconsistency of their offense. That's kind of where I have my hesitancies with the Chargers.
Yeah, I think most surprising team, Carolina Panthers.
I like that a lot.
I know Bryce Young has been getting some flack, and rightfully so, your number one overall pick. There's some expectations that you got to uphold too. But I think when it was rock bottom, the only way is up. He finally got himself a number 1 wide receiver in Tet. At least that's what they hope. I think Xavier Legette is going to improve from year 1 to year 2.
I hope so, man.
And we saw once Bryce Young got his confidence back, he was night and day a completely different quarterback.
Thank
It
God.
actually worked the gamble of, and I don't even think the Panthers like meant for this to happen. I thought they were like completely done with Bryce Young, and then he ends up coming back, and it's kind of like, again, if it's rock bottom, only way is up. So I think Bryce Young and the Panthers, they'll win 7-8 games and make it interesting towards the end. They might spoil the Falcons season or spoil the Buccaneers season. The Saints not gonna do nothing, but like those will be like the teams competing for the NFC South. So most disappointing team is 2 teams. I agree completely with Joel that the Commanders are prime for a disappointing season. Yes, do I want that as an Eagles fan? For sure. But I also saw this stat. Well, all the matchups that the Commanders, face, right? The Commanders, they were 12-5 last year.
You're going to name their quarterbacks?
Here were the 12 starting quarterbacks they faced. Daniel Jones, Andy Dalton, Caleb Williams. Hey, if Tyreek Stevenson isn't taking selfies or whatever with the crowd, I mean, they lose that game. Daniel Jones again, Cooper Rush, Will Levis, Jake, I can't even say his last name. Nobody knows who he is. Spencer Rattler, Kenny Pickett. They would have won that game, the Eagles, if Jalen Hurts is in that game. Louvu, dirty hit.
Henry Smith catches the ball.
Yeah,
too.
somebody catch the ball. Trey Lance, Deshaun Watson, and I'll give them Joe Burrow. Jane Dance was amazing. But you given that schedule, now you're going to actually face some better defenses this year. I think it's definitely on the table for them to get 9 wins. And I think the Cowboys, if the whole Micah Parsons situation, gets cleaned up and there isn't bitterness there, they could actually have a better record come next season. And I think the Patriots, too, are getting a lot of hype, crowning them. Oh, they're going to be the next, hot team. Mike Vrabel's out here like on, I guess trying to break up the fights and all this stuff. So I see the hype, but the foundation is the trenches. And their foundation is pretty much shot right now. They got a year or 2 to get that, really developed. So, and the wide receivers, I mean, they missed on a lot of wide receivers. A lot. And I like Stephon Diggs, but if he's your number 1 at this stage of his career, you're not in a good situation. So, Commanders and Patriots.
I'll piggyback off that because my disappointment is in the same division. It's not going to be the Bills.
You better hope you're right, bro, because he's spitting about the Patriots. They're mid.
I think
They're
the
mid.
Patriots are fine. I think Miami's coming in 4th place this year.
No, 4th place.
They would be my disappointment.
Need Jesus.
Is some of this blind faith in the Jets who have never done shit? Yes. But I think there's real reasons why Miami could come in last.
There's nothing you
third.
guys do.
Miami was a good defense last year. They were more or less a top 10 unit. I agree with you. The pass rushers are getting healthy.
It's gonna carry.
Bradley Chubb, Jalen
Chop
Phillips,
Robinson's a
Chop
dog.
Robinson. You guys have the dudes.
Zach Seiler, come on.
The secondary last year was probably the highlight when it comes to dropback EPA. This was a top 10 unit in that and success rate. This was probably the stronger of the 2 units, again, because the pass rush was banged up. But the secondary is completely changed, right? And you do swap Jalen Ramsey for Minka Fitzpatrick. I think that's an area you feel good about. But the remaining starters, I don't feel great about. I do worry about communication issues early in the season in that secondary, leading up to some possible big plays. And offensively, the vibes are off, right? The Tyreek Hill shit in the offseason. Jalen Waddle's been banged up. Tyreek's been banged up too. Achane got banged up today with a lower body injury. McDaniel said he's somewhere between days and weeks, whatever that means. The offensive line is worse than it was last season. There's some real concerns, I think, from the Miami team. The only thing that stops me from putting them like real disappointment is just what their expectations. I feel like even if you're a hopeful Dolphins fan, it's like a playoff appearance, maybe a playoff
that's
win.
Why
if
they're
you're
going to be the most
if
surprising.
you're really, really into them. So that's why I'm going pretty extreme and saying they'll come in 4th.
Well, how it feels with the Dolphins right now is that when they got Mike McDaniel, they were going up here and they reached an apex, I would say, in 2023 when they were leading the division, the AFC East. And then from there, it has been a free fall. So you're basically betting it's not
keep
gonna
going
it's
down.
not gonna go and loop back up, but it's gonna go fall
It's
all
going
the
to
way.
keep going down.
And I don't think it's crazy to think that because the offense has made major transitions in different areas. Like at first, they were a big play explosive offense. Then this past season, they had to become the shortest passing offense in the NFL. Tua had the lowest average depth of target in the league last year, and that's because they were spamming bubble screens to Achane and Jonnu Smith, and that's just what they needed to
and
do.
they swapped out
to
Jonnu
survive.
Smith, who was their leading receiver at a point last year, for Darren Waller, who hasn't practiced yet.
And they've had to do that because the offensive line has been poor, and the run game last year is the first time that it fell off in the way that it did. Because in 2022 and 2023, they had a solid run game, especially running to the outside of their tackles. But last year, it wasn't that way. So if they continue to be sluggish offensively, which from all reports of the joint practices they've had, they have gotten their asses kicked. Like in the Bears joint practice, I think they had a terrible day to where Tua didn't even want to grade his performance for the day because they were just so bad and out of sync. So I think right now the vibes in Miami definitely feel off. You have Jalen Ramsey taking a shot at Mike McDaniel. You have Tyreek Hill, and basically the team kind of not all vibing with the coaching situation there. So it is a team that could free fall.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a year that it can happen, I think it would be this year.
And then, of course, I still don't know why they don't invest in backup quarterback. Like, of course, you want Tua to stay healthy. If Tua gets hurt, the team falls apart. But why are we relying on Zach Wilson?
You saw him today?
No, I really don't care.
He kind of balled.
Okay, I really don't care.
I'm
I
just
thought you
saying.
said Zach, going to ball out. Miami.
Nah.
Well, he's not saying I'm saying
I could have sworn I saw that.
Anything that he says about Zach Wilson, you
Take with a grain of
throw
salt.
it out. You
It's
just
true.
throw it out.
It's true.
For my surprising team, I was considering New England because I do think they're going to go from a 4-win team to like an 8-win team. They are getting a little overhyped, I agree. But I didn't pick them. I was thinking San Francisco too, because I think San Francisco, just given their schedule, just some improvements. I think getting Robert Saleh back, which we talked about earlier, is going to be huge for their defense. But they're another team that they've had recent success. So like if they're good again, no one's surprised. So if I had to pick a bad team, right? A team that is going from like kind of what we're all doing, right? A team that didn't make the playoffs, that was like one of the 5 to 10 worst teams in the league. I would put my money on the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars bringing in Liam Cohen and this new offense that worked so great, even better than it did with Dave Canales and Tampa Bay. I think this offense has a chance to be a top 10 to 12 unit in the league. Last year, Trevor Lawrence played 10 games, got hurt. I think we're souring too much on Trevor Lawrence. If you take out last year and you take out his rookie year, he's been a top 15 quarterback in the NFL, right? He's been top 9 in success rate, top 14 in EPA per play. He's been a fine quarterback, and that's with really no weapons. It's been Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram and Gabe Davis. We're going into this season.
We can just take out years.
I'm taking out his rookie year, which I think we all agree, and last year, which was a bit of a mess because he got hurt. So the 2 healthy years where he didn't have Urban fucking Meyer as his head coach.
I'm fine with taking away the rookie year, but I'm just saying we're deleting years now.
The numbers would probably still be a top 15 to 16 guy even without last year.
I don't think that that's true.
Maybe 18. But this year, in my opinion, I think he has the best play caller of his career. He definitely has the best wide receiver 1 of his career.
Easily.
He has the best wide receiver 2 of his
Easily.
career. So I believe in this offense in a kind of weird division with the Texans' offensive line falling apart. No run game because Joe Mixon is banged up. It's a division that isn't up for grabs. The Texans still got it because the defense is one of the 4 or 5 best units in the league. But it's a division that they're going to play Houston twice. They're going to play the Colts twice. Like, they have matchups that they can win. And as long as they go maybe like 500 and out of division games, they can hover around an 8-win team.
They lost 11 one-score games
That's
last year.
insanity, bro.
They're due.
Yeah, every one-score
They're
game they
due.
lost. So I do think that there's room for Jacksonville to improve.
They
I'll
lost
let you
one-score
surprise.
games enough to get Travis Hunter. W.
Well, yeah.
So honestly, how
they were
you
the
talking? How you
pick.
talking is they should
They can win the
compete for
division. Talk.
They could.
because
They
that
could.
Texans offensive line,
It's
like
nasty.
it was bad last year.
Listen.
And you trade your best offensive lineman.
I don't
to
know
the
what was
Commanders.
going on in the GM's
Like,
head.
Their defense is gonna be elite. It's gonna be amazing. But that
For sure.
offensive line, I mean, I like CJ Stroud.
Get us out there type?
Bruh.
Yeah, nah, it's bad, bro.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's not a good unit at all. So you think that Trevor Lawrence gonna have a better season than Mr. Kyler Murray this year or no?
So hold on. I was just looking at the e-paper play, including last year. Trevor Lawrence, 17th. Top 18, like I said.
You lowered
Kyler-
it. You changed it to top 18.
You said Kyler, Trevor Lawrence. I could see Trevor doing it. I definitely can. I'm into Liam Cohen. I'm into this. The fact that Travis Hunter is legitimately like going to be a focal point on offense, not like, 50-50. He's saying 80% offensive snaps. You're a starter. There's not a lot of players playing more than 80% of snaps anyway. That's a full-time offensive player. Him and Brian Thomas, a run game that Liam Cohen has shown that I can produce an elite run game, and you have a two-head monster with Tank and ETN that feed off of each other. I think Trevor can have a better statistical season for sure.
And that's going to do it for this episode of the Pick a Side Podcast, episode 502. I want to thank Mr. Miles Johnson for pulling up in studio.
Legend.
Very clutch. Very clutch. So
Very clutch. You locked in for a minute.
Yes.
Locked in.
We didn't have to change up the
Appreciate
setup. We got the 4-person setup here. It would have been a hassle to make it 3 people.
That's why I thought because Joel didn't tell us if you were pulling up, but when he said we're not like recording on StreamYard or whatever, I'm like, oh, I think he's gonna pull up. So yeah, it's always better when
they
people
knew
are
you were coming, but not in person.
Facts.
Maybe I think.
Because
Did you think he was coming in person?
No.
I had an inkling because usually if we're doing something on StreamYard, we're doing it at home because it's easy to record.
Yeah.
But it's so much when you're in person, so much better.
I would
You
also
get
say
so
this,
better have
bro.
conversation.
We don't often have guests in studio.
It's
been OG
We've
and
had and Ryan Hammer.
and Nerdsesh.
And
If they count,
Nerdsesh.
but they weren't on the show.
They weren't on the episode exactly.
But I
short
do
form.
usually say, is there anything you want to shout out before you go?
Hey, shout out Real Talk with MJ, all that. Do want to give y'all flowers because been watching y'all since 2020. Joel Furs, Drew, all of y'all like going crazy. Shout out Rev. Be doing some. I've been seeing like his viral take on like Steph
KD.
Curry.
Yeah.
It's on fire.
That is a fire take.
It's on fire. So
That video
like,
was lit.
I love what y'all doing. Like young guys getting to it. Everybody, dedicated, all that. So love the following y'all have. Pleasure to be on.
We appreciate it. We're
Hell yeah,
happy
man.
we had
Facts.
you on, and you guys can follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod and on TikTok and on Instagram at Pick a Side Podcast, where we just hit 100K followers.
Yeah, shout out
which
to
is
y'all.
a great
That
milestone.
was huge,
Yeah,
man.
we just hit 100K. on
Very
there.
proud of that.
So shout out to you guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.